Hello and welcome to the Inbetween podcast. I'm your host, Joe Scott. I'm joined by Tony Tones at RT. And this week we're going to be talking
Hello.
about not E3 and the Switch 2. That's right. I've got one. I've got my hands on
Game.
a Switch
I
2. That's right. I got one. And
is that
yes, I'm not giving it away.
that's the one
Okay.
from Argos, right?
Yeah, I ordered it from Argos. Um,
The old
the Switch
pre-order.
2. Yeah, I put it from... And I ordered I've got it as well. The Pro Controller, which I kind of fucking love. I think the Pro Controller is really great. Not just like as a good Nintendo controller, but just as a solid controller in general. I really like the Pro Controller. So,
Does it work for
I've
PC?
yeah, it's a Bluetooth controller, so you can use it with a PC.
Okay.
I've been playing a fuck ton of Mario Kart. I can show you
Yeah.
that. I'm probably gonna have to talk
One
about
of,
what
one of
I've
your
been
two
playing.
favorite games.
Yeah, I have 3 games on the Switch 2 that are Switch 2 games, and yeah, I like 2 of them. So Tony, I just wanted a quick update. The Mamba 1 controller, I have plugged it into my PC, and it passes the Street Fighter test. I did test
Okay.
it, and I can drive Rush with the analog sticks. So it does pass that, which is really cool to see.
What sort
Um,
of battery life do you get with it on the PC then?
I'm playing with it wired, so I actually have no
Oh,
idea.
you're wired. Okay.
Yeah,
You're
I was
wired.
just
Okay.
wanting to play with it wired just for latency stuff, but which is
Okay.
weird because I've been playing with the Pro controller, which is just Bluetooth to the console, and I don't feel the latency at all with this thing. So maybe
Yeah.
there's just some
I
magic
assume
there.
that the operating system's dealing with the stack a lot more efficiently than
Um, so
in the
go over
main
everything
together.
I've been playing, and then you can s- see what you
Yeah.
want to hear more about. But I'm probably going to speak about Mario Kart at least for a little bit, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
and the Switch 2 in
I mean,
general.
yeah.
So I've actually been playing Donkey Kong Returns HD. I was playing this before I got my Switch 2. This is a remaster of the Wii title, which I actually played a lot on the Wii. Um, I remember it being hard as balls. I'm playing in the modern mode, which gives you an extra life and it gives you more of those Diddy barrels. I mean, everyone's dogpiling on Diddy recently. I'm just, like, where are the Diddy defenders? I love Diddy. He's got a jetpack.
Yeah.
He's got a gun that shoots
What?
bananas. Like, what's going on
Yeah.
here? I just realized I'm still in
Maybe
full
different,
cam.
different, did,
What?
different Diddy,
You think
maybe.
it's a different Diddy?
I don't. I'm just my sus. I don't know.
Well, let's just say, Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's coming out. It's coming out next month. I've got it on the pre-order because it was cheaper to get it physical through Argos because they were doing a promotion where you get like £10 off. Orders over £60, I think it was. So it cost me £50 to get the physical edition of Donkey Kong 2. So I will have, because so far I only have digital Switch 2 games.
Okay.
The Mario Kart bundle that you get gives you a digital code, and I've bought Fast Fusion and Welcome Tour through the eShop. And I've not bought any storage yet. I'm just like raw dogging just the internal storage, and it hasn't been an issue
Yeah.
yet.
How big is it?
Is it like 256 gigabytes, I
Oh, it's
think?
okay. That's kind of small.
But I think so far, like Mario Kart is like I want to say like 10 to 16 gigabytes. It's not and then like Fast Fusion is like 2 gigabytes. Welcome Tour is like 2 gigabytes. Like the game, I think Donkey Kong is like 10 gigabytes, like the Bonanza one. So
Okay.
it's not gonna fill. It's not gonna fill up very quickly unless there's like some.
No.
I think Street Fighter 6 is like 50, 60 gigabytes or some shit. So that would fill
Yeah.
up your storage
Yeah.
very quickly if you wanted to play that. But yeah, I've pretty much. So I was playing this because I was like, it's the year of the dong. I mean, it's been the year of Diddy apparently in the news, but it's the year of the dong now, and I've pretty much got to the final world of the Wii version at least, and I'm on the final stage. And then the Switch 2 came out, and I just dropped this and was just playing the Switch 2. So I played through most of this at this point, and I will say like it does get to a point where it's like hard as nails, but it's still very fun. And thank God there's a version of this game where I don't have to waggle a fucking Wiimote and do motion controls to actually do a roll jump.
That's my
That shit
favorite
was
one though.
so annoying. It's so like if you go back and emulate this as well, it's still like janky as well.
Yeah.
Like having an actual version without waggle-tastic controls is really nice. Oh, it's another thing the modern mode does, as well as giving you get new items that are only available in the modern mode, an extra life heart, and there's more Diddy barrels along the level to give you an extra couple of lives and a Diddy to jetpack with you. So yeah, I want to talk about this. I've got a bunch of like Switch 1 games I've been playing. I've got a bunch of Switch 2 games I've been playing. So I want to do tangerines on those at some point. Tony, I played Back from the Other World, I Missed Love, and I think I may have found the worst Asian dating FMV game I've played so far. This game is legitimately awful. And it's such a shame because it's the first like big Japanese one. I mean, you may recognize some of the women on here. I know I do. We've got like Saika, Kawakita, Ayahara, Yu Mihama, and then they kind of like pad it because they showed those three as the Japanese women on the front cover, and then they're like, and we've got these two other Taiwanese women, and they're from like one of them's from like a cheerleading group, and another one I also looked her up, and I just wasn't really sure where she came from, but yeah, this game is essentially. I read the reviews, and everyone was like, "This is fucking awful, don't get it." And I read a review from somebody who said. I also read the reviews, saw they were awful, and thought, I would think better than that and get this game anyway and just play it, and maybe I would enjoy it. And I got to say, I also did that, and this game fucking sucks. There is no choices. There is no fun in this game. It is a fucking mess.
Like, here's a failure state. It just tells you what happens. Right? You don't really film that happening.
Every choice is just the right choice, which progresses the story, which... there really isn't a fucking story in this game, but the story, I guess, quotation marks. And you can be like, oh, okay, I'll press this one. It's like, you cast it fades to like a black screen, and it just says in text what happens. It's like, you cast a fireball and it killed you. Game over. And then that is every choice in the game. And I'm just like, and then you get to the end of each section, and it's a fucking sliding box puzzle. And I'm just like,
oh yeah.
And it's not just a sliding box puzzle, a timed sliding box puzzle. And I'm just like, for fuck's sake, this is. Yeah. I know I say this a lot, Tony, but every game I play makes Five Hearts Under One Roof look like a masterpiece when it comes to these games, and I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. So far. So
multiple choices and actually showing the failure states makes it interesting.
I've been playing another FMV game. We'll talk about those in Tangerine. Mario Kart World. I've been playing Mario Kart World. Mario Kart World is really fucking good. It is.
We need a timestamp for this, aren't we?
Well, not yet. I'm going to go through everything and then I'll come back.
We will do.
Mario Kart World is my favorite stuff in Mario Kart World so far has been. It just I love free roam mode. That's where I've been spending my most time. I think I have like over 100 blue P switches. I just drive around and I do. There is so many of them, and they're just everywhere. I think there's legit maybe like 200 or more of these fucking blue switches, and they range from like easy challenge to like this is designed for fucking speedrunners sort of thing. Like they are like they have the difficulty range covered for like everything. And then I think my second favorite thing to do in this game has been queuing up a Nintendo Switch Online and just going into Knockout Tour. I love the new Knockout Tour. It's really fun. I think this is like my preferred way to play multiplayer Mario. It's just 23 other people online. Like 24-player Mario Kart is insane. I like it's really chaotic, but Knockout Tour leans into this chaotic style stuff, and it's just like every checkpoint for the last people in the last 4 places get out of there. They're gone.
It's very heading like power ups and like things being actually like all at once, like near the back as well. It's just going crazy.
Then I've also been playing Fast Fusion, which is another Switch 2 launch title, and this is sort of like F-Zero, or if you played like Hydro Thunder, I used to play as a kid, which is like a jet boat racing game. It's that like fast-paced, like super breakneck arcade racing game, and it's really fucking good. and I think it's going to be massively overshadowed by the fact that there's an even bigger racing game that's just come out. I worry that I think Fast Fusion is legit a really fucking good game. It is just
Yeah, it has some interesting
boosting
mechanics.
and
Was it where like you had to like align your shield color?
yeah, there's these like boost pans where you have to
One pound a
change your
little bit
color.
extra. Maybe not as good music, not as good like sound design, but
You
still
can't
like
say
that
that.
sort of idea.
And then there's the fusion mechanic, which I didn't even understand until I watched somebody else do a review of this, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you can fuse two ships together." And I was like, "Wait, what? You can fuse two ships together?" So I need to play more of this because I've just been playing like different versions of. I've just been queuing up different like Grand Prix in this and having a lot of fun. Tony, I've unfortunately spent £8 on Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour.
The thing that's meant to be, it should have been free to explain
the thing that
the
should have
Switch.
been a packing game, I don't think is even good
Yeah,
enough to be a packing game.
no,
From what
that's
I've
true.
played, this thing is god awful. Please don't buy this.
Yeah.
And I did test out all the features. Like I've done mouse mode. So Tony, I'll talk about this more in Switch 2 stuff, but I have plugged in the webcam you're looking at right now is a USB-C camera from Logitech called the StreamCam, and I just plugged it into the USB-C port on the top of the Switch 2, and it just accepts it. I was playing the Welcome Tour mode, where you have to like make facial expressions with your face on the camera, and you have to like match a giant yellow emoji, and that's like the mini game of the camera they have on there. And then of course you can use the camera for game chat as well. But yeah, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. I will talk about it more probably in Tangerine, but I do not recommend this game in its current state. I mean, I don't think they'll ever. It's like a really boring museum that I guess sometimes you do pay to enter museums, but like, Tony, did you know that the piece of fabric between the magnets and the controller is 0.02 millimeters thick? I do now because I did a really fucking boring quiz about it.
And you had to do a quiz. It's like a test. Like you have to pay attention as you can't complete the game.
The general like gist of Welcome Tour is it's just there is like a couple of mini games to show off the features, but they're gated behind just walking around finding these stamps, and it's not fun walking around finding stamps. So it just feels like they're just trying to waste as much time as possible to kind of like pad out the experience. Because if you like boil down just the mini games, I don't think it would be good either. So yeah, there's that. I've been playing. There's a new season of Marvel Rivals. There's the Ultron character who's a support. Also, I haven't tried this yet, but they do like game modes inside Marvel Rivals where they're like, okay, the random game mode this week is that we're doing a mode where everyone can play as 6 of one character. So you have 6 Groots versus 6 Rockets, for example, or something like that, right? The game, I had no idea until I heard about this like a couple of days ago. The new game mode in Marvel Rivals is that they have like a Ultron auto battler. So you like buy units and it's like an auto battler. I was like, oh, that is actually sounds kind of interesting. I want to give that a go. So I might give that a go at some point. And literally yesterday, Tony, I played and completed Egg Squeeze. Egg Squeeze, yeah. It's a game about squeezing eggs. Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Why would you squeeze an egg?
Because you like eggs. So yeah, is that
right? Okay.
I'll just go over this stuff quickly because I finished The Last of Us season 2 and mixed feelings on this show. It also shows like a scene at the end of The Last of Us season 2, and I feel like I was so confused what they were showing me, and then I was looking up online like what people had played the game thinking, and they were also just saying like, this makes no sense if you haven't played the game, and I was like, yeah, this makes no sense to me. I have no idea what's going on. So yeah, no, interested to see.
It's a bit rushed.
It feels kind of like a Squid Game situation where they've split up the season into 2 parts. Speaking of Squid Game, season 3 of Squid Game, I think, is coming back like this month or next month, right?
Oh, really? Okay.
Squid Game season 3 release date. It's soon. Yeah, the 27th, so like 2 weeks from now, pretty much. So I will watch that, and I will also probably complain about the Squid Game season 3. Oh, Tony, I've watched the. I do actually want to talk about this quite a lot, but I've watched the entirety of season 2 of The Rehearsal. Have I ever talked to you about the show The Rehearsal?
Remember? I feel like no, but I don't remember.
So one of my favorite comedians is Nathan Fielder, who stars in this show, and he has a show called Nathan for You, and Nathan for You is fucking hilarious. It's so hard to describe Nathan Fielder's style of comedy because it is like hilariously absurd, but also like genuinely sincere at the same time. Where the
like,
concept,
he has absurd ideas, like dry humor.
But he has like with Nathan for You as a primer, like that. The idea of that show is he takes business ideas to struggling businesses, and he basically goes, "Why has nobody done this?" And then he does it, and he's like, "Oh, okay, because it would go insane." Like, for example, he let's just pick one at random. Like he this gas station wants to sell gas prices. He's like, "You can sell your prices lower than everybody else," and he's like, "Well, we can't do that. We'll lose money." And it's like, no. You can make your prices lower after a mail-in rebate. And they're like, oh, okay. So like because you know with like graphics cards and stuff, you have like a mail-in rebate and basically to get people to buy it, and not many people actually go through the trouble of mailing in the rebate, right? But then he's like, and what if we put the mail-in rebate on a postal box that's only accessible at the top of a mountain? And then it like the whole episode just like divulges into these people who are willing to go like hiking up a mountain to get like, you know, a couple of dollars off their gas in a rebate. And it's just like, it like Nathan Fielder's humor not only shows like how hilariously absurd things can get, but also like actually shines a genuine light on human nature. And like I genuinely think like The Rehearsal, specifically The Rehearsal, but even like Nathan Fielder, it genuinely is a piece of art. Like it genuinely, this show is a piece of art. Like it is so good, and I would highly recommend it to anyone. It's going to be one of those shows where you're like, I feel like it's hard to recommend sometimes because it's like you have to buckle in and be like ready for some wild, weird shit. But season 2 specifically is about airplane pilots. And he basically like recreates disasters of airplane pilots, and he goes through all their logs, and he's like, the number one issue is co-pilot feels like they can't speak up against the main pilot. So he starts investigating this, and he's like investigating aviation safety. So he basically, obviously, he has to recreate an entire set of an airport, and with realistic actors, at which he can go and observe people in. And he basically talks to real life co-pilots, but he wants to know like how they're able to like. He wants to find co-pilots that are able to like give people bad news. So obviously, he recreates an entire fictitious pop idol show where he gets them to be judges so he can get them to turn people down that aren't good enough. And like it just it starts from like there, and it just like starts snowballing to a point where he's like role playing being a baby, being like breastfed so he can relive the life of Sully the pilot who landed on the HUD. Like this show goes wild, but there is so much like genuine like actual like good aviation safety stuff and like interesting stuff. It's fucking hilarious, and it's a great documentary both at the same time, and it is like so engaging, and I absolutely love this. Like I love Nathan Fielder, so I would highly recommend checking out any of his stuff. And I've also been watching season 4 of Welcome to Wrexham. So if you don't know, Wrexham is the Welsh football side that has been bought by Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds, the actors, and it just follows like
Right.
their promotions up the league. Like currently they're in League One, and they're trying to get promoted to the Champions League. I don't know if you know how
I
it
was
works.
told League One is the third league.
Yeah, so League Two is the Championship, and then League One in the UK is the Premier League. So that's kind of, but like League One and the Championship are really competitive still. Like
Yeah.
they went from, because they were basically down in the dumps in like the National League, and I don't know if you know this, but like Wrexham is like one of the oldest football clubs in the world. I think it might be the oldest football club in the world.
Right.
And it was like a very like not the best economical town, but they came in and they've basically been like fixing up this team and stadium, and they came in and their big advantage was they basically could out wallet everyone and be like, we're going to buy the best players. So they're in the National League and they're buying like League Two, League One players. And now season 4 is interesting because they're in League One and they actually aren't the richest team in the league anymore. They actually can't afford to just like outbuy everyone. So this season's been more like putting money into like developing talent and stuff like that. And like I don't know if you know, there's an American football player called Tom Brady, who's like one of the biggest.
I've heard his name, but I don't know who he is, right? Really though.
But he's like now involved with a soccer. Which soccer team was he? I'm going to say soccer. He's purchased a stake in Birmingham, and they're in League One, so they're having like beef with him. I still like the show. I find it really interesting to see like how like football leagues work as a structure and how the fans treat like, I like how they call them Disney FC because they're doing like a Disney Plus documentary, or it's FX, which is part of Disney, and Ryan Reynolds is known for like Deadpool and stuff like that, right? And, it's just I really like this show. It's the 4th season, so it's been going on for a while, and one episode I did watch, I was like, I feel like I'm just watching an ad right now. It's not like, you know, gripping documentary, but it is something very entertaining to put on, just to be like, I wonder if Wrexham's going to make it up into the next league. Like, because they basically, I think season 1 they didn't promote, and then season 2 they went back to back to get to League One. And like, I personally have not looked up the league tables because I like to just watch the documentary, because that's cinema, you know. I only watch Welcome to Wrexham to learn the football scores, because then you get like the big payoff, which I guess is how like most Americans would probably watch it, because they're probably not keeping up with like League One or League Two tables of English football, right?
I assume not. Maybe some of them do.
But yeah, that's pretty cool. Was there anything anime? I have finished watching Horimiya, the sort of like romance show. I thought it was okay. It was like 12 episodes long, and then like a couple of years later they did what's called Horimiya The Missing Pieces. I also watched that. It's like 13 episodes long, and I think I started to dislike this show. Watch this basically because it's based on a manga. They cut out a bunch of stuff to get it into like a 12 episode anime for the first season. And then like this season is just much more like slice of life, and it's all just like the side manga stories, like back to back sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, because the original series ends with like the graduation, and this is just like, and this happened in between, and this happened in between. I was like, it kind of feels kind of, you know, not so great. I mean, I've been watching some stuff like just speaking on anime, I'll touch on it quickly, but I've watched like 10 episodes of Summer Pockets now, as my like attempt at watching a visual novel anime, and I gotta say I kind of fucking hate this show. Like, what is it with like visual novels and like a guy just walks up to some random girl he's never met and he's just like, I'm a butterfly and my wings are broken, and then walks off, and then like he starts to like speak to this girl in a relationship, and then she's like, I'm dying, I'm going to turn into a butterfly now, and then she flies away, and I'm just like, this is so fucking stupid. I don't know. I don't want to say like I hate all visual novel stuff, because I think Steins Gate is one of the greatest shows ever made, but yeah, I had to have at least a quick rant about. I'm thinking about dropping Summer Pockets, but I'm not sure. I was watching it yesterday, and the character was just singing a song that goes "Mog you, mog you, mog you, mog you," and I'm just like, please kill me. I legit was skipping through it. I was like, I can't watch this anymore.
I mean, you're not selling it. I have to tell you that.
No. Well, it was one of those shows that somebody in Twitch chat was like, "Oh, is anyone watching Summer Pockets?" And I was like, oh, "Okay, maybe I'll give that a watch." And it's just like, I think people who've played the visual novel are like, "Oh, I love this. This is great." And I'm someone who hasn't played the visual novel, and I'm just watching this, and I'm just like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, the dialogue is awful. The characters are just interacting with each other for no reason. It's messy. It makes no sense. I don't feel any of the emotional impact of it. Like, I don't know. But yeah.
It does need to stand alone, like if someone coming in news, but yeah.
But
I guess, yeah.
I guess Horrormere was for me because it's romance crap. But so I have I'll talk about this probably next week. I've watched the first 3 episodes of Vinland Saga, and I've heard very good things about Vinland Saga because I watched last year a show called Orb, which is was about like an anime version of like 15-ish century Poland, right? Where somebody was like, I think the Earth doesn't revolve. I think the world doesn't revolve around the Earth, right? I believe in heliocentrism. I think the universe goes around the sun, right? But the structure of that was so interesting, and people kept saying, "Oh, it's like Vinland Saga," and that made me be like, "Oh, Vinland Saga, what's this about?" But Vinland Saga is essentially like it's basically like an anime version of Vikings versus the English. So like I'm very like interested. Like you follow like some Icelandic Vikings.
Pre-1066.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it's supposed to be set. Because basically they're going to, this what we learn about in school is like how the Vikings came and murdered a bunch of monks because they didn't like Christianity, right?
Well, I mean that definitely did happen, but apparently they just raided for resources. But then
it starts with like the English like waiting for the Vikings, knowing on the day that they wash, and then like ambushing them and killing a bunch of them, and that starts the whole like chain of events of these Vikings going and attacking England, sort of thing.
Yeah, they'd be raiding without it. Like the word to Viking is basically like it's not the name. Like it's more of a verb. It's like it's an act. Like you're going out to do a Viking. It's like their word for raiding.
But yeah, I want to talk about that a bit more. Also, there's like 3 different versions of the show in terms of like the sub, but then like there's 2 different dubs of this show because it got popular, and both Netflix and Crunchyroll were like, we're both going to dub it our own version. So there's 2 different dubs with different characters, whereas I think it's called like the Crunchyroll version is called the Sentai dub or something like that, right? Where they specifically made it so the because they're speaking different languages. I think like the English characters are like British English voice actors, whereas the Icelandic or like the Viking characters are more like American voice actors to like try and differentiate the 2. Whereas I think the Netflix one is just mostly American voice actors, I think, for the most part.
Right.
But like with the Crunchyroll version, after like season 2, I think some of the cast gets recast, so some of the voices change, and then with the Netflix version, because I was looking it up and people were saying, oh, the Netflix version, people thought some of the key moments were more impactful in the Netflix version. They thought the voice actors did a better job. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to watch the Netflix version because I have both, and I'll just give that one a go. So that's the one I've been watching.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Was there anything in particular you wanted to hear more about?
I mean, I do just want to actually talk about Mario Kart Worlds. Like, I think I'm always interested in like the open world bit, like you are. So I'm curious to. I mean, I watched a lot of the Discord stream of it, but
let me plug my Switch 2 into my capture card, and we can get going. So here is the Switch 2. Electric Boogaloo. I'm currently in the middle of a challenge because I was doing this challenge. So these are like the blue P-switch challenges. This is now an informal Let's Play of Mario Kart World.
Okay.
But I'm probably going to fuck this up because I've still been trying to do this challenge. I'll just drive around for a bit instead.
Yeah, I think it's just like maybe those like go like explore like different worlds and things. So.
Yeah. So
there's like crazy height differences and like the world is, I don't know, the world seems very big to me.
It's fucking huge, and there's these courses, right? And you can kind of like just fast travel between them. So like for example, I was like, oh, I want to go to Starview Peak. I just hit that, and then like Switch loading times, I'm there in a couple of seconds. Like Switch 2 is fucking quick.
That is nice.
That is like something I've noticed between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2.
Because like in a film with a direct storage
I'm currently playing. So the way it works is the different characters have different skins. So like if I was playing Peach because I haven't unlocked all of her stuff, but you basically go around and eat food, and then you can unlock new versions. So like this is you can collect coins, which then give you the ability to get new carts, and different carts have different stats. So if you go on to smart steering is on by default, by the way. I would recommend anyone who has this game to just immediately turn smart steering off because it's really fucking annoying.
What's smart steering?
Like when you go, like it will basically kind of like you know, like aim assist on like FPS games.
Yeah.
When you go around a corner, it will like naturally push you to go like round the corner, sort of thing. Like as you're driving, it will push you in certain directions to make sure you don't go off the course, sort of thing. Which I really don't like. It's not my favorite. But each different cart has its own stats, which is interesting. And I was like, okay, so it's just the characters are cosmetic and the carts have stats, but no, in Nintendo fashion, there is invisible stats on each character. So like Waluigi, for example, here is a large character. Which means he can I think he has higher top speed and less acceleration. But
why
like smaller
that? I don't understand. Now, we also know, like, you don't know what like all these power ups do, so they don't have a compendium that shows what they do.
Well, I think the idea is trying to reduce complexity, because like for example, I had no idea about any of this going into it, and it hasn't changed how I play the game. I just pick characters based on what I think looks cool.
No. Most people don't look at the compendium unless they don't know something specific.
And like, when it comes to different CCs, like 50cc, 100cc, 150cc, I haven't picked that once, like since I've been playing, because I've been playing free roam, so there's no 150cc there. And I queue up for Knockout Tour, and it just puts me into a lobby with random people from all over. There's no region select, so it just puts you into a lobby with people all over the world, and that's been working fine for me. Well, the thing I like about this skin is when you do tricks, it's sometimes someone's vampire bats behind him.
Yeah.
There is some really cool skins in this.
Waluigi Vampire is the best skin in my opinion. I'm a big Waluigi fan.
Tony, you have to remind me to keep speaking about this game because I will just sit here and play Mario Kart. I am giga addicted to this game, and I'm.
The thing is that I do like just watching. It's like they put a lot of effort, like the different zones and regions, and I kind of just watch it. Like you kind of exploring the visuals. Sort of thing. It's like it's just very nice to watch. Challenges you have to go around and stuff to do.
Like, really glad I got my capture card because it means I can like stream it on Discord and stuff like that. I've mostly just been playing like on like the HD. This is non-HDR because recording and stuff, but having the HDR on my like OLED screen, it looks so fucking good. Like it's really cool. Yeah.
But, that'd be interesting to see.
I haven't really. There's only one game in existence that uses 120 FPS mode, and it's Welcome Tour for like one mini game, which is like the football mini game.
Oh right.
Oh, here's what. So you can rewind time, but as I'm rewinding time, the timer's not going back, which you can't see because I'm blocking it with my webcam. Hang on. So if you can quick retry a mission, by the way. Like if you see here.
Yeah, that's really cool. Just like free world stuff. They just quick resets. That's always great.
Sometimes when I miss a jump, I'm like, oh, I could just rewind, and sometimes I do because like I lose a bunch of time. So I'm just like, well, I'll see if I can.
I think.
Let's try that again.
I think it's a good way to balance it. So yeah, like you can rewind, but like you don't.
And it's useful for like when I'm in the because there's collectibles, so there's peach coins, and usually peach coins are just like in the platform in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, if I jump off here and I get like a feather, the feather power up is cool for free roam, and I kind of fucking hate it for knockout tour, but in the end for that. There we go. It's cool because like one thing I've basically been playing Super Mario Kart World is basically like a 3D platformer. My only like issue with playing it like that is a lot of time I want to go, okay, I want to stop here and I want to plan out a jump and stuff like that. Like you would in a collectathon like 3D platformer, but Mario Kart is very much designed as a Mario Kart game. So it's like it's designed for you to keep going and never stop or like
there's no like hard limit to like different zones, they just like the smooth.
And there's not personally I've really been enjoying going out and just driving around finding blue switch. Oh, here's the feather power up that lets you do like a jump. Which is very good for collecting things, but my issue with it in like Knockout Tour is a lot of the time using it just slows you down if you're not like specifically finding a creative way to like cut a corner or like cut over like a barrier or something. And most of the time it's hard to use it in like an actual race, whereas in the open world it makes sense.
Yeah.
I just realized I'm blocking power. Guys, I'm a new streamer to Mario Kart World. I don't know where to put my cam. Oh, there's a piece of
You put like a little circle above your focus like the screen, like a circle car.
I'll make myself the racer. Yeah, I am Waluigi.
Yeah.
Tony, we're recording a podcast, right? I do eventually have to.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So like. I think this is...
It's only been 8 minutes.
Okay, so I think this is actually the perfect launch game for the Nintendo Switch 2. I think it was a really good idea to launch with this because you've got people like me who want to... How the fuck am I supposed to get that coin? There's people like me who want like the Mario Odyssey. We want to play like the 3D platformer, and the open world stuff is enough for me to be like, I want to just go around and get all these P-switches. There's not a great reward for getting all these P-switches. Like, it's not like, oh, you can unlock like additional content and stuff like that.
No, but doing it is the fun. Sure.
For me, yeah.
Complete.
Wait, can I land on that? But yeah, it makes me... So you got that content for people who are like, I want the new Mario Odyssey, but you also got the content for like, Knockout Tour is crazy, and like, you've got the Grand Prix and all the tracks and everything of that. It's really, really fun still. So I think they've like, got both of their bases marked there, right?
Yeah. I'm super impressed. They've got like the party stuff and then like the single player stuff.
And I think like, it's going to make me... I'm still going to be waiting for, obviously, Donkey Kong Bonanza, because I think that looks really good, and I love my 3D platformers. But for now, Mario Kart World is enough for me on the Switch too. And I have, like, because it's such a versatile, like, because I've been playing the single player, just collecting things. I've been playing the multiplayer and just finding that really fun. And I've also, like, my sister came round and I plugged it into the TV downstairs, and we were just playing like co-op. We just played Knockout Tour online together, and we played against like big Grand Prix against the other racers. I have used the Joy-Cons on this as well, and the Joy-Cons are fine on this. I'd much prefer the Pro Controller, but not everyone could spend. I think the Pro Controller is like 65 quid or something like that. It's quite expensive, but it is really good.
It's not too bad.
I mean, most controllers these days are like
okay
£60. Like they're pretty
Yeah,
fucking
I mean, like,
expensive.
it's like £50 for like a basic like primary grand controller at this point. And like if it's sort of good pro.
One thing I do like about driving around is that I noticed, because I was like, I'm going to check this. There's boost pads in the world, and if you start driving in the opposite direction, they automatically change to be in the direction you're driving. So they go both ways, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, this is such a great all-rounder game, and I'm going to be honest, Tony, this game is probably worth $70.
Yeah.
And that might be like an unpopular thing, but this game is really fucking good.
I think it's more worth it than the other games, but it's a little bit too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, like, we'll talk about this later, because they announced, like, The Outer Worlds 2. They showed it off at the Microsoft E3, and Tony, that game is going to cost £70 on Steam, and I was like, I'm not paying £70 for it. And it feels very much like they're being like, okay, we're just kind of pushing people towards Game Pass at that point.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
But we need to do a Tangerine on this, Tony, and you need to get me to stop playing this, because I will sit here and play this for hours.
Well, it's been 12 minutes. Maybe we need to. Maybe we need to move on.
12 minutes Mario Kart World game, world exclusive from the podcast.
Yeah, world premiere.
But yeah, I've also got This is Fast Fusion. I'll just show this off quick, just in case people want to know it fast. It's £13. It's almost twice as expensive as Mario Kart Welcome Tour, and it is by far 10 times as good, at least, as fucking Welcome Tour. I can't believe you were talking shit on the music. You said it wasn't as good as Wipeout. I think the music for this game is really good.
Wipeout has... I would put it as good. Wipeout has absolutely fantastic music and sound design.
My only issue with this is I think of course, people on Twitch are seeing this in 1080p, but this is in 4K. But yeah, this is Fast Fusion. It's really fucking fun. It's like fast-paced arcade action, and if you have a Switch 2, do not sleep on this game. It's really good.
Yeah. You're not gonna get one on the Switch. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
You barely get Wipeout on a PC.
Shit, I forgot to jump. I'm dead. But yeah, I also will keep playing this game if you don't force me to come off it.
What did you want to say about it? Like, what was the?
Don't sleep on it. It's a really good game. Here are some gameplay.
Okay.
Sorry, I wanted to say there's 3 modes for it. So they've started doing console modes on like some third-party Switch 2 games. So there's a performance mode, which is 1080p 60 with like dynamic lighting. There's a balance mode, which is 1440p 60 with I think it still has dynamic lighting, but it's like slightly lower resolution. And then there's the mode I play on, which is 4K 60 with static lighting. And that's the mode I think looks the best, because there is like a super quality mode you can play on, which is 4K 30 with dynamic lighting, but I wouldn't play that game at 30. They did say somewhere down the line they would like to implement 120 hertz mode, 120 FPS mode, which I would love to see as well. I think that would be really cool.
I think I wasn't quite ready for launch, or maybe not. Maybe too hard to implement or something. But yeah, that'd be nice.
But the reason I play in the 4K 60 mode is I think like image quality in Fast Fusion is a little soft. It feels kind of, like TAA or like upscaling. It's a bit smeary and blurry.
Higher quality.
They've definitely pushed the graphics, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. But
they're relying too heavily on TAA or
I don't know. I'm not sure what they're using because
it
it almost looks like a FSR 1 or something like that. I'll have to see.
All the DLSS and FSR stuff heavily even if like it turns it off, it's internally using some like form of TAA, like it's temporarily aliasing in some way, shape, or form.
It looks really good, and they're pushing like graphics that would not be possible on like the Switch 1 or like other Switch 2 games, and like, but just like the stark difference of going from the 4K 60 fast fusion to like the absolutely like crystal clear, rock solid like 1440p 60 of Mario Kart World. Like I much prefer the Mario Kart World presentation because it is just so like solid and not blurry and smeary. And it's not like
they toned down.
This is not like a motion blur thing, because I think there's motion blur in the game, and I think the motion blur looks good in this game, and I wouldn't turn it off if I could. But it's like I'm talking specifically about like images, like static, not moving images, just having like shimmer and fizzle around them, which I don't think looks very good.
Slow camera movement, you can see it, and
but yeah, that's the Switch 2, Tony. Let's move on and then probably talk about E3 because we're going to run out of time otherwise. We have, let's do trailers quickly. Lambda Fortress. This is a brand new Half-Life 2 TF2 source mod that basically lets you play through the entirety of the Half-Life 2 campaign as TF2 characters. I saw somebody commented on this when it was released on a trailer on Reddit and said, "Who is this for?" And my response is exactly me. This is exactly what I would want.
I thought it was pretty cool as well. I don't think those questions are necessary. Like, it's clearly not for you if you ask it that, but you don't need to ask it like that.
Like, I think this looks really fun, and like I 100% will load this up and join like either a public server if I can convince some of my friends to join me and just play through the campaign as TF. Yeah. Like I've played through the Half-Life 2 campaign in Synergy. I've played through the Half-Life 2 campaign in Gary's mod, and you just spawn in like random shit and stuff like that. Like, this is hilarious co-op fun, and this is what this mod is. It's just fun, I guess. And it's nice to see like we have this officially on Steam now because of the open sourcing of TF2, which is cool to see.
Yeah, it's cool that they finally did that, both like technically and like legally, like framework sort of thing.
Because I think you can wish list it now, but we don't know when it's coming out yet. So look. Oh, and this was announced at the Future Game Show conference, but it was the one trailer I was interested in, so I just put it in trailers quickly. It's The Expanse: Osiris Reborn. You were also because we were watching this together, and you were like, "Oh, this looks very much like The Expanse, right?"
I knew The Expanse before because I noticed the red light. I was like, "Oh, it looks exactly like the red light that Rocinante has." And I was like, and then it went outside and like started spinning. I was like, "Yeah, that's an Expanse maneuver."
You mean the Rossi?
I was like, but when I first saw it, I was like, "Wait a minute, are these Martians?" Yeah, the answer is yes.
Well, because I saw it and I was like, it almost looks like Starfieldy in a way as well, like that.
Yeah.
What were Bethesda calling it? NASA Punk or something like that.
Yeah. I think it's just called it near future, but yeah, that's a punk that I guess people are more catching on. But this is like I think further forward than NASA Punk. I think it's like even more future sci-fi, but like still grounded in current knowledge of science. But yeah, no, I knew the Expanse once I saw the big single engine with like the plume and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely The Expanse.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks very much sort of like it almost looks like Mass Effect. It's like a third person RPG covery shooter.
Yeah, you say like kind of XCOM, but like from the third person. I was like, yeah, that's kind of Mass Effect in a way because you have like your main character and then like two other characters.
Find some more
it's kind of
stuff.
Not the RPG-ness of the Mass Effect, but I'm talking about specifically like the combat and the core gameplay of Mass Effect.
Because this is coming from Alcat Games, and I think Alcat Games are known for making CRPGs. Like they're known for Pathfinder. And they also did a Warhammer game called Rogue Trader.
So that's interesting. Yeah, Rogue Trader is like got some actual like like some in-depth RPG stuff in it.
That's like another isometric RPG sort of thing, right?
Yeah, it's more. I don't know. I think it's like. I think it's more top-down, but yeah, I think you can kind of like change the perspective a little bit. But I'm not. No, I never played it. It's on my wish list.
Isometric RPG, you would call that like a CRPG, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, technically, it's also like. So in a way, it's like kind of combined. Like it's kind of like because of your isometric, that kind of like makes it easier to develop and like add more story stuff because of that. It's like more of like there's more choices in CRPGs normally, but and then the isometric is like the way to like simplify some of the other gameplay elements to achieve that. But yeah, at the moment, it's like I would say like that is like pretty. Most CRPGs are like that,
but yeah, I thought this looked pretty cool. So interested to see like more like raw gameplay of that and see more what it's about.
Yeah, I'd like to see how it actually plays out there. I love The Expanse, so like.
Yeah, I think it's a good TV show, and I'm glad you got me into it. I think it is one of the better sci-fi shows out there. So
yeah, it's true.
But yeah, let's move on to releases. Elden Ring Night Reign came out. Which is the co-op sort of like roguelitey Elden Ring game. I have seen some people playing it on Twitch, and it looks pretty fun. I was even thinking about maybe picking it up, and I was like, wait, the Switch 2 is coming out. So, yeah, it looked quite fun. But the problem is, it's not designed for solo play right now. And I would kind of have to convince a couple of other people to play it. Like, I have one friend who's played through Elden Ring, so I was like, maybe I can convince him to play it. But then I was like,
what's the minimum? Is it like 3 people?
It's minimum 3 people right now, I'm fairly sure.
Okay.
There's no duos mode. And I think so like if you queue up for if you queue up with 2 people, you'll be matched with a random person. You can't queue up for duos. And I don't know.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. I don't know if there is specifically a solo mode, but there isn't at them. Like, I think if you queue up as a solo, you'll be matched with random people. There's no voice chat either, so you'll have to like emote to them, sort of thing as well.
Discord, you go add me on Discord temporarily.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I turn off voice chat in online multiplayer games, so I'm kind of okay with that. But yeah, let's see what people are saying about this. It's also made by another team within From Software. So the primary team, I believe, is working on the Switch title. What was it called? The Dusk Bloods or something?
I don't remember.
But that's like the one Miyazaki and the main From Software team is working on. Is like the PvP PvE game. Because I thought, for some reason, I thought this was like a battle royale thing with like multiplayer, but it's like, no, this is just co-op, sort of.
That makes me more interested that it's just co-op. Like, I thought the same too.
Yeah, so no, it's just like you queue up with random people or friends, and you just go against like it's almost like Fortnite, where there's like a storm moving in, and then you basically have to keep fighting creatures until you.
You're never fighting other players, you're always as a team.
Yeah. There's like, Dark Souls fashion, there is like phantom versions of you that will attack you, which I guess could kind of feel like players, but I don't know. But yeah. It does seem very much like a game that has like a good base, and from the people I saw play it, they were like, yeah, this game was really fun because I was playing with my friends. But like, if I was playing this as like a solo Souls game, it wouldn't have the content or be good enough to be considered a good game, sort of thing.
No,
it feels very much more like a B game sort of thing, right?
Yes. Well, I think like back in the 15 years ago, we had like you'd like shoehorn it into like a primary game, it'd be kind of crap. I think it does deserve its own like smaller secondary game
because it's like there is technically ways to play with other people in the Souls games, but it's very janky.
It's not. It's not
there's a reason that the seamless co-op mods exist for like Dark Souls and Elden Ring. because like the base version is you'll see like a weird phantom version of your friend, and he won't affect your world, and you can kind of summon random people to help you with specific bosses and stuff like that. If you remember the Let Me Solo Her guy, have you seen the Let Me Solo Her guy?
No, I don't think so.
I think it's like a guy with a pot on his head. It's like a naked guy with a
the
pot on his head and two swords,
Oh,
and he gets summoned and he goes, "Let me solo her," and he just solos Melania while the other guy watches.
Right.
Which is like I like that organic like multiplayer stuff that happens in like these Souls-like games.
That is cool, but it's not the same as cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I am interested in. I think I would be more interested in playing this if I had. If one, I played Elden Ring, which I've only played Sekiro. I haven't played Elden Ring. And two, I had a couple of friends who were like, okay, let's queue up this trios sort of thing, right? Let's all play together. Unless they change like the duos, unless they change the duos mode, and then I can probably get one of my friends to play this with me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like getting two people to go, one other person together is much easier. Like I don't know, like 10 times easier than getting another two people together.
Well, it's like Elden Ring is a very accessible games for the Souls-like in terms of the Souls-like stuff, but the Souls-like games are very notoriously hard for people to get into. It's like me going up to a couple of my friends and being like, "Hey, come play like Street Fighter or Tekken with me, or like come play Mordhau or Chivalry with me." Like it's very like, or like imagine I went up to somebody and said, "Let's play League of Legends together." You should run away.
Come play Solaris with me.
Oh no, I'm not. Not that fucking Stellaris game.
All you need is 100 hours and you learn the basics.
But yeah, Elden Ring Night Rain looks interesting, and I think I might pick it up on sale later and try and give it a go.
I'm definitely interested. I just feel like I'm not consistent enough to be able to get this working with other people, but I would actually be interested.
Deltarune came out. This is up to chapter 4. So this is still not the complete game, but if you purchase this game, you will be able to play from chapters 1 to 4, and when the next chapters launch, they will be added as a free update to the game that you've already purchased. Because I think there's going to be 6 chapters, maybe. I'm not sure. There's going to be at least a chapter 5. He said they're aiming for chapter 5 in 2026. Because I believe you can play like the first 1 or 2 chapters. You can play the first 2 chapters of this game for free as a demo on Steam. And I think because I love Undertale, and I'm a big fan of like Toby Fox's games and music. But I think I will just wait until this game's finished and then pick it up. I just want to play it. Just the story stuff that makes so much sense. Because I still, you know me. I did like that music quiz of like the best video game soundtrack music, and Rude Buster from Deltarune was like my number 1 pick for the best video game music ever. I fucking love Toby Fox's soundtracks. But yeah, this is also on Switch as well, which I think is probably a good way to play it if you don't have a Steam Deck. One thing I will say about the Switch 2 is it's... hang on, I'm going to get my Steam Deck.
Sizes. It's saying it's more portable. Man, we could be on the Star Trek bridge right now if it wasn't for Nvidia.
So, the Steam Deck is still slightly longer, but the Switch 2 is like almost the same length as the Steam Deck. But the Switch 2 feels so much better to move around because it's so much thinner and lighter. I would say like...
Yeah, that is interesting.
Okay, it's telling me it's going to sleep. But like just like the weight difference, like it's so much thinner, the Switch. This feels much more like a portable console compared to the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I would. I think that yeah, I feel like if the Steam Deck 2 could be lighter, that would actually be a big
Because like
improvement.
I forgot to mention this. I was it last weekend or the weekend before? We were around a friend's house for a party, and
Yeah, it's about a week and a half
I
ago.
bought my Steam Deck with me, and he was what you were playing a board game that I wasn't interested in playing, and he was watching the Formula One, and I pulled out my Steam Deck and I started playing some Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo, which was one of the
Oh, okay.
demos. I've been playing that game; it's really good. I forgot to talk about it. I sat down and I played like 15 minutes of it, and I'm like, yeah, this is a good use case for the Steam Deck. But I turned on my Steam Deck the day before, and I was like, okay, I'm going to play on my Steam Deck, and then it crashed and was like, oh, Decky plugin is broken, so I had to restart it without Decky plugin, update Decky
Yeah.
plugin,
Oh.
and then I was like, oh, I have all these flat packs that need updating, so I went and updated all these flat packs, and then I was pissing about on it for like 30 minutes, and then you were like, we need to leave, and I'm like, oh shit, my time to
Yeah.
game on the Steam Deck is so low because of how much I tinker with it. And with the Switch 2
Yeah.
so far, it's a really light thing. I turn it on and I play a game. Like that's how quick it is.
I actually had an issue with my Steam Deck the middle of last week. Actually, I think when we got
What?
after we got back from that weekend thing, I was like,
Mm,
oh, because I was like, ooh, if I brought my Steam Deck, I could play V Rising. I was like, okay,
mm,
fine. I haven't installed it yet.
yeah.
So I went to turn on my Steam Deck, and it's like, oh, you can't connect to any internet. I was like, okay, what the hell's going on? I literally couldn't connect to any internet. There's like some weird bug where it's like it got stuck in like an infinite loop and then it would then crash. Like the whole Steam Deck would crash. It was very odd. I had to like switch to like a different branch, like reboot, change another settings like related to networking, reboot, then select the Wi-Fi, put in the password, let it log in, reboot, and then I could like put everything back to what it should be, and then reboot again, and then it's then ready to go. But it's like, yeah, it took me like hours and hours to like, try and figure this bug out, and it's like, okay, interesting,
Just Linux
weird
things, you
Linux
know.
bug.
Yeah.
I think it might be a MediaTek bug. I think it might be
Okay.
like a wireless like Bluetooth / wireless antenna problem. Like that's what people were kind of hinting at,
But
but
yeah, I
I'm not
wanted
100%
I
sure.
wanted to say like with the Switch 2, like I'm planning to get use it as like a Nintendo exclusive machine for
Yeah.
me, and then use that handheld whenever, and then mostly going to be playing docked on my 4K OLED screen, and then when I want like the indie stuff, like my Pipistrello, great Steam Deck game, just can load that up and play for like 15 minutes when I'm out and not wanting to watch the Formula One, and that's a good experience. But like I was listening to the Nerd Nest podcast, which is a bunch of like handheld gaming guys who do all these like handheld PCs, and they were like talking about the concept of TTG, time to game, and they were saying like
Yeah.
you can spend so much time tinkering, whereas these days I just want something where I can just play the game like immediately.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's why I haven't been tinkering my Steam Deck because I just wanted to pick it up in Steam mode and just like install a game and play it.
which I think that is like I wanted to say this about Mario Kart World. Like,
Oh,
I press a button and I'm in the game, and I click multiplayer and I say I want to play Knockout Tour, and I don't have to select a region, I don't have to select a speed, I don't have like it just puts me into a lobby and it loads and I'm playing the game and just immediately okay, next lobby. It's just like it is such a great seamless experience, which I really enjoy. So yeah, so currently I'm thinking Nintendo exclusives on the Switch 2. Probably still going to go indies on the Steam Deck just because it gives me the flexibility to play on my PC and on my Steam Deck when I want it portable. But I'm thinking like we're going to talk about this later. Sonic Crossroads. I've already had a friend been like, "Can you get that on the Switch too, so we can all play it together?" And I'm like, it probably would be easier to get this on the Switch 2 compared to the setting up controllers on the Steam Deck. So yeah, that's something to think about. Like party games, I think I might get them on the Switch too. I'm not sure. But yeah. I just remembered there's an entire conference I forgot about that was should talk about. Mario Kart World and which Switch 2 Welcome Tour came out on June 5th, as well as Fast Fusion, which didn't have an open critic page at the time of writing my list, which I don't know if it did. It does now. But Welcome Tour is rightfully so getting some lower reviews, which it fucking deserves. Let's talk about quick news and then we'll go into the conferences. Subnautica is coming to mobile. There is going to be a mobile version with touch controls and cloud saves and game center achievements, which is a thing. It's going to be pre-order or pre-register on iOS and Android today. It's going to cost $9. I don't think I want to play Subnautica on my phone. This seems very random, but to the people who do it, I guess the people who only have like a phone as their gaming device, this does open up a lot of more revenues to them, right? But yeah, then we have retro emulation news. The Switch 1 and the Switch 2 are getting updated emulators. So I haven't played it yet, but I have downloaded the GameCube emulator for the Switch 2, which is the Switch 2 exclusive emulator now, which I believe I can play Soul Calibur. I do want to play F-Zero, and you can play F-Zero multiplayer, F-Zero GX multiplayer, because I've been playing Mario Kart and I've been playing Fast Fusion, and I'm like, Fast Fusion is kind of like F-Zero, and I really want to actually play some fucking... Because I played F-Zero 99, the Battle Royale, like NES version of F-Zero, and I really want to give the GameCube version a go because it looks really fun. But anyway, they're now adding the ability to add a CRT filter on top of the emulator, which is really cool. And for the first time, you can rewind Nintendo 64 games. So if you, I think I showed it before with my Game Boy Advance when I was playing like Metroid. What is it? Metroid Prime, not Prime, Metroid. The original Metroid, but the Game Boy Advance remake version. You can just like press start and then you can like and rewind time and go back to a specific point. That wasn't possible on Nintendo 64. And it's now possible on Nintendo 64. I think actually like PC Nintendo 64 emulators have struggled with like rewinding Nintendo 64 games. So it's interesting that Nintendo themselves have got this working. And they've also added the ability to view and change the controls on the game. So you can go in and be like, well, the GameCube controls like this, but I don't have a GameCube controller. Let me set up some of the buttons on like the GL, the GR on the Pro controller or whatever, right? And yeah. And we also got more Nintendo news. Actually, like literally a couple of hours
More
ago.
Nintendo news.
Yeah, like so there's supposed to be a Nintendo Direct this month. I think it's probably gonna be next week. I'm gonna guess probably I'm gonna say Wednesday at 3 p.m. That's my guess for when it's gonna be.
Okay.
They, for some reason, Nintendo, they always, because it's Japanese time, it's always like 3 p.m. England time, and which is like the evening in Japan, right? And then it's then it's usually just in the middle of the week or something that they like to do stuff for some reason. But anyway, they got this new Nintendo News app. And it's like you can use that. There's an app. There's a version on the Switch 2 that you can look at, or you can get it on your phone, and it'll give you notifications of, "Hey, this stuff is coming to the Switch 2, or we're doing this, right?"
So it's a Nintendo News only app.
Yeah, specifically just to say, "Hey, if you want to know what's going on with the Switch, here's all the updates of what's happening."
I don't hate that as an idea.
Yeah,
actually.
But today they were like. They announced a new Splatoon game through this Nintendo app, like exclusively almost.
Right.
I think they uploaded to YouTube as well. And they announced that they're making a Splatoon spin-off game called Splatoon Raiders, and this is going to be a Switch 2 exclusive. So it seems like this is being built for the Switch 2 specifically. So maybe what I saw of the trailer, it doesn't show too much. Like I said to you earlier, I was talking about this. I was like, I'm not 100% sure what's going on with like the actual gameplay of this because they don't. It's kind of a tease. They don't show too much, but it looks like it could be. Yeah. Do you think this is the year where they just go, "Oh, we had the Switch 1 and we were so limited," and then like all Switch 2 games are like massively open world, and they're like, "Look how far out we can go."
Possibly.
Because I think a open world Splatoon game would be interesting. I'm not sure if that's what they're going for with this. It could be like a roguelite thing. We have no. I'm just speculating. But like,
for me, it's like I kind of like the idea of Splatoon, but I don't want to play multiplayer.
Yeah. So, but what I was going to say was, Mario Kart World's gone open world, and one of the last Mario games they made was the expansion Bowser's Fury for Super Mario 3D World, and that was this open world 3D platformer. It was really fucking fun. And it's like, if Nintendo wants to go more in that direction, I'm for it because I've really been enjoying their more open world stuff. Because like Mario Odyssey was much more open world as well.
I feel like they want to like try and put a lot of detail in, not just the Ubisoft way that we just need to have open world for no good reason. I hope that all their games have that sort of.
But I have played some Splatoon 2 around a friend's house. On his Switch, and I was just playing the single player missions, and those were pretty fun. So like there is single player stuff to do in Splatoon.
There is single players.
Yeah, and I think there might even be more single player stuff, specifically in Splatoon 3. I think Splatoon 3 has like a story mode potentially.
I'm not really
There's a DLC as well. I was looking up like but the other news was that they're going to be doing a free graphics update for Splatoon 3 for the Switch 2 specifically. So I was like, oh, that's cool because like
I remember looking at the Splatoon 3 and like thinking that the art style wasn't as good as 2.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this graphical update will fix that, but yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, they're also like because they're doing this 10.0 update because it's coming to the update that adds the new. So they're adding a bunch of guns from previous Splatoon games as like updated versions to Splatoon 3, and then they're remaking a Splatoon 1 map and they're adding it to Splatoon 3, so you'll be able to play that.
Okay, that's nice.
But these updates are coming to both Switch 1 and Switch 2 because there's going to be crossplay between them. My big like disappointing was that they didn't add mouse mode to Splatoon because I think that would be really interesting. Because I was playing with like gyro controls, and that was interesting. But I would love to be able to like if they were like, hey, we're re-releasing all the Splatoon games with mouse mode support on the Switch 2. I would buy them on the Switch because I don't know any of the Splatoon games, but I'm like I would buy them on the Switch 2 and then play them that way. I think that would be interesting.
I guess they could switch lobbies for like, if you're in mouse mode, a different lobby to
because I think they didn't add mouse mode because Switch 1, Switch 2 crossplay, and they don't want to deal with like people having access to a mouse
a mode
in
only on the
Splatoon.
Switch 2 version.
Yeah, but Nintendo doesn't. They don't want to do that.
No,
they don't want to split people up.
That's the problem.
That's not
clever ways you could do stuff. No. They don't do clever multiplayer stuff. They do like half backwards, old 5-year-old solutions.
Well, I think it's just like what I was talking about with Mario Kart World was you could split up people by region, but it's actually just a lot quicker and easier just to put everyone into the same lobby like immediately.
Yeah, I think that's a sensible decision. I don't think that's necessarily a problem. I think that's fine. I think that works well. I think different. Yeah, I don't know. Just like it feels kind of limiting, and like if that is the issue to like have the mouse mode, then this is the solution.
Because I was like, how? Because I was looking it up, and I was like, I went on the eShop like literally an hour ago. I was like, how much does Splatoon 3? Because there's an expansion for Splatoon 3 as well, which I think might add more story stuff. Splatoon 3 DLC story.
Do you think it's a single player expansion?
I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know that much about Splatoon other than.
No, I, don't- I yeah, I only like I don't like keep up with Splatoon. I like the style. I like the idea of the style of Splatoon. Is every now and again I like see things like just like through
That'd be
osmosis,
nice.
I suppose. But yeah, I don't keep track of it or like follow it or anything, or even really
Yeah,
properly
so
play
I'm like
it.
looking at Wave 2 of the DLC pass was a new single player campaign called Side Order that released on the 22nd of February last year. Gameplay is designed to be played repeatedly and utilizes new mechanics. So yeah, so I was like, oh, how much does Splatoon 3 and the DLC cost on the eShop? And it was like £77. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I won't be playing Splatoon 3 like and the expansion. Like it's
Yeah.
because I looked up the physical as well, and it wasn't that much cheaper to get the physical edition either. So I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I won't be playing Splatoon 3 as a new player who doesn't own the game.
That's the thing is like I feel like that's one thing with the prices. Like if you just want to, it's hard to like justify. It's hard to try. Like it's a higher wall to climb to like to try to really.
I mean, I could get it just like the base edition of the game, right? But I think it's still like
Yeah, sure.
£50, so I have to think about it. I'm not sure because I don't know. I would like to try the multiplayer of Splatoon. It'd be like a big reason to pick it up on the Switch too, because I do have Switch Online. But yeah, interesting. Shall we move on to E3 and talk about all the trailers that were
Yes.
shown there? I forgot. I wrote down like links to every thing that was shown off at the conferences that we were going to talk about, and I forgot Summer Geoff Fest existed, so I'm going to have to just pull games off the games recap website, which I'm going to be using anyway to remember stuff. So,
was there some stuff in I can't remember what was in what. I think I missed. I didn't see the Xbox or the PC gamer stuff. That's for sure.
but yeah, so the first game we're going to be talking about is Summer Geoff Fest, which was an alright conference. I would say it's probably the third best out of the four we're talking about. Pretty much what's happened with E3 now.
What's the worst one?
Oh, PC Gamer by far. It made me want to die.
Oh, really? Okay.
Watching that, yeah. It was fucking awful. It was constantly cringe over and over again. And I legit, after watching the PC Gamer conference, was like, I'm never watching this again. I do not want to watch.
Okay.
Yeah, I've pretty much gone from watching a bunch of the indie ones to being like, I'm just going to watch Sony, PlayStation, and Summer Geoff Fest, and then that's it. I don't want to watch any of the others. There's just too much stuff. These like if you look at conferences, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, like 30 other conferences all in like a couple of weeks. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. I'll just look at
waiting for it to get passed by and that someone else.
I'll just let people shift through the games.
Yeah.
Then I'll like
don't need to watch it live
because I think some of the games that got announced, I've just Steam Next Fest is on, and I've been downloading a bunch of Steam Next Fest demos. So like some of the games that were announced at some of these indie conferences, I've just downloaded. I'm going to give them a go.
Yeah, I think I was watching some. I was like, oh, I've downloaded a couple of the demos. I think one of them I don't know if we're gonna talk about. No, I don't see it. Oh, it'll be in the one that you don't have. Okay. I think Eric's Home, like, didn't have a demo, but now does.
Which one was that? Are we talking about that?
It was like the Swedish isometric. I don't know, like story-based, like stealth thing, isometric stealth story puzzle thing.
You have to send me a link and then I can look at it. But
no, I don't think we're going to talk about that. But I was like, I was very vaguely interested in it. I was like, I'll give it a go if I had a demo. They didn't. They hasn't ever, so I might report back later.
Yeah. But yeah, basically what I've been doing now is I'm just because I think with Devolver they basically announced one game out of it because I missed Devolver because it was on at like 1 o'clock in the morning UK time, and I was like, I'm not staying up for that. I've not seen it yet. And I think they announced like one game through a 10-minute YouTube video, and I was like, okay, they're kind of. It feels like they're cutting back as well, but
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna watch the big
Well,
ones, and then that'll be it.
I
for
guess
me.
maybe the things have started ready from the Bulbasaur as well. Okay, won't announce it unless they're ready to be announced.
Yeah,
Okay, makes sense.
there might be just an oversaturation of game conferences now.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the first game I wanted to
To
talk
be
about,
fair, it's
Tony,
always been a bit
we
saturated.
have to talk about Sonic Team Crossroads coming out in September.
Yep.
The reason
Actually, it's pretty good.
the reason I'm so happy for this, I said, please, for the love of God, don't make it just Sonic characters. And we got an official announcement that there will be third-party characters, including, I think, Ichiban from Yakuza.
Yes.
Tony, Joker from Persona. They've added Persona characters to fucking Sonic Racing, which I'm like,
It's the wrong
yes.
Persona character.
Well, I asked for Hulkenberg from Metaphor, but yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And then, well,
Steve?
yeah, Steve from Minecraft was teased at the. Oh, Hatsune Miku is being added.
Oh yes, yeah, that was a big one.
So Hatsune Miku is not a Sega character, but Sega almost exclusively publishes Hatsune Miku games on gaming platforms. So like she's she's usually considered to be like Sega adjacent sort of character, right?
Yes, yeah, that's fair enough.
But yeah, I'm wondering if there's if it's like one character per developer. So is there just going to be Joker? Is there just going to be Ichiban, or could we get like Majima, or Yukari, or any other characters from the games, right?
Yeah, I want to play as a creeper. That's my
you want to play not as Steve from Minecraft, but Alex from Minecraft. Oh wait, I saw a creeper and Alex in minecarts.
Yeah, that's why I'm a bit confused. So maybe there's like other skins, like maybe it's like you have Minecraft and there's like other skins from it, like different characters. Technically, that'd be kind of cool.
Mm.
But we'll see. Yeah, the actual there's a lot of good momentum.
Oh wait, so sorry, I didn't see this. It says season pass, additional characters and more. Oh. So maybe you have to. Do I have to buy the fucking DLC? Because Tony, do you know how expensive this game is? My friend said to me, she was like, "Oh, for my birthday, I would like to play Sonic Racing. Can you get it?"
I saw this message.
Can you get it on the Switch and then we can play it? And I'm like, okay, I'll look it up. I look it up on Steam, and it's like the base edition of the game is £65, and I'm like, there is. Oh. I may be one of the few Sonic Racing defenders out there, but there's no fucking way I'm spending £65 on this game on release. There's just no way.
And we need the Minecraft DLC. Come on.
And I'm gonna want the season pass as well, and I'm not spending £80 on the game and the season pass. That's just insane, brother. I'm probably gonna have to wait until this goes on sale and then pick it up.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'll probably
just bring Mario Kart World.
Yeah, we can play Mario Kart.
Just pretend it's Sonic and go, oh, I thought this was Sonic.
And I'm going to want to play this on my PC, so I think I'm going to buy it on Steam sales. So I'm probably going to buy it on Steam, and then I can just set up my controllers with the Steam Deck if people want to play that. But yeah, excited to see what more characters come to Team Sonic Racing. It feels very much like that Smash Bros moment, because I think literally, other than Hatsune Miku, every single other character in this game is a Smash Brothers character at this point. Like Steve is a Smash Brothers character. Joker from Persona is a Smash Brothers character. No, there's not a Yakuza character in Smash, is there? No, that's a new one. Oh, if you get the digital deluxe bonus turn, you get Sonic Prime character pack. Oh, and
what does that mean?
Sonic Prime is like the TV show version of Sonic, and apparently Sonic the Werehog is a pre-order bonus. So,
thank God.
Yeah, I'm definitely not pre-ordering this, but yeah, okay. Even though I think it looks really cool and I want to play it, I've been burned by Sonic Team Racing before,
Yeah.
And that game was like half as expensive as this, like literally. So Damn. Games are just getting so fucking expensive, man.
Yeah.
Next one I wanted to talk about was Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I thought this was like a Marvel beat 'em up game, which I know like the X-Men beat 'em up games have been a thing for a while, but I'd legit like never heard of this, and I thought like the art style looked really cool. I don't know. What did you think of this one?
I don't know. I was. I think I'll say this. I
Because
thought it was really cool. So like the Marvel stuff that I recognize, a lot of it reminds me of like the anime show. I would say, like the Sentinels, for example, look exactly like the I think it's 2000s or maybe 1999 animated TV series. So it's like okay, that's pretty cool, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure like if I want to actually play it or just appreciating the art style.
It's made by Tribute Games, who do the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge game. So it comes from like a good beat 'em up studio who are doing this. So that's pretty cool to see. And then we have Felt That. Do you remember this game? It was like the puppets that are rendered in Unreal Engine 5s. They look like real puppets. But it's like
so this one wasn't like for me, but I think everyone else liked it.
I thought it looked awesome. I mean, it might not be a game that I buy and play, but it definitely looks funny and looks fun. I'm just looking at this and being like, I couldn't believe that these puppets were like computer generated. They look so realistic in terms of being like actual puppets.
That is impressive. Like I agree with that. I just like I'm not sure I appreciate any more than that.
But like the main gameplay looked like, it looked like Punch Out, like with like Mike Tyson. So,
sure, yeah.
I thought that looked cool. Lego Voyagers, I thought looked really cool. This is from the developers of Lego Journey, which is one of the best looking Lego games out there. You get ray trace Lego, and they're doing a co-op game that looks pretty cool. What did you think of this one?
I think it's good that it's co-op. I feel like I'm happy with like the I don't know if it's actually ray tracing, but I assume it is. But like the actual reflective look, like I feel it does really help sell the realistic Lego look.
I mean, from the trailer, it's not looking as ray traced as the first game to me.
No, to me it looks more like if it is ray tracing, it's like very like toned down for like the scale of it. Or it might even just be screen. But I think that's fine. I just want some sort of reflections, but yeah. The levels what was that Lego game was like it looked like more competent levels than like the other like puzzle Lego game that you played like last year or the year before.
Oh, the one where I had to build like a helicopter and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's like there wasn't much creativity. Like this was like might still not be as much creativity, but it looked more fun to execute.
I don't remember the name of the game, I'll be honest with you.
No, I don't. I was very disappointed with that.
Lego Brick Tales, was this the one? I think it was Lego Brick Tales, maybe.
Yeah.
That I played a couple years ago.
Is that one I had a demo, right? I was like, thank God.
The cool thing about this game is it's going to have a friend pass. You can just buy one copy and then you can, your friend can join you for free. Because there's also this Lego party game. And I was looking at this, and I was like, "Ooh, this looks like a good game for like." This would probably sell quite well on the Switch. Like, I think this is like people 100%. Love these. Like, I mean, I've literally just a couple months ago bought like the new Mario Party game, and I think like when I take the Switch around, we're going to be playing stuff like Mario Kart and Mario Party, like the Jamboree game. But I could definitely see like this doing well. It looks pretty fun.
I have at least 2 of those Lego sets.
You're looking at the Lego, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, I have the Crystal King and I have the pirate ship. So.
Yeah, a bunch of mini games, Lego themed. Looks like it's pretty good, and that's it's coming out this year at some point, I think. Next up, we have coming out today, June 10th. Mind's Eye by Builder Rocket Boy. Let's have a look. Oh, this was an IO partner, and I had no idea what was going on in this game, but I thought it looked interesting. So I wanted to
I was
brief.
really confused. This is like, didn't this like seamlessly like transition to a Hitman thing afterwards? I was like, wait,
Yeah,
or was it a different one? I can't remember the order now, but it's something like that.
Blighted, I specifically wanted to talk about because it is the new game from the Guacamelee guys, and I fucking love the Guacamelee game. So I just like literally loaded up Guacamelee 2 on my Steam Deck. And I was getting ready to start to play that.
I need to play more. I've not played the first. I don't think I own the second one.
The confusing thing about
more love.
Guacamelee 1 is there's like 3 different editions of Guacamelee as well.
Yeah, they kept releasing different editions.
There's like Guacamelee Gold, and then there's like Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition.
Yeah.
So that was quite confusing.
I assume it's just more and more stuff for each edition, but I actually have no idea what the differences are.
But yeah, this was kind of looking more like a Hades type game, I would say. Which I'm big fan of their previous game. So and it looks like there was co-op as well, which is cool.
Yeah, I didn't see that actually the first time. Okay.
Yeah. And I can check. It could just been like a Phantom or something, right? I can look
Possibly.
I can see if I can find the store page and see if it's confirmed to have co-op. Yeah, it's got the co-op tag.
Okay.
Co-op multiplayer. Yeah, so you can do drop in, drop out multiplayer. So that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that's nice.
Eel from Team Clout. I thought this one just looked genuinely horrifying. Like it looked like a very disgusting horror game, and I liked the look of it.
Yeah. I don't know how the game's gonna play, but the actual horror elements.
Well, it seemed kind of like cool. Resident Evil-y. You're like going around shooting people.
Well, they were like Bioshock, weren't they?
Sorry?
I think they're trying to compare it to Bioshock, but I can't remember like who was saying that.
I don't know. I'm seeing a house and a camcorder and people getting their limb shot, and I'm thinking Resident Evil.
Yeah. I think your comparison makes more sense, but I think they
welcome to the family, son.
Yeah.
Okay, now. Right. But yeah, that could be interesting. Oh, we got a new fighting pass for Street Fighter. Year 3 fighters, which, because I was like, I'm not sure, are these characters from a specific game?
I didn't understand this trailer whatsoever. I don't. I feel like
is this guy a wrestler or something? Because I don't know who he is.
No, I don't know who he is. I don't understand. I don't get. I guess it's funny that he's playing all the characters, but
because like they announced 4 of them, and my friend was like, "Oh, there's 4 new characters," and I'm like, "Yeah, but what are they from?" And it's like, "Why do they have to be from something?" I was like, "Normal," because with like the new character in Street Fighter 6, it's a previous Street Fighter character, and they announce them like one at a time. They're like, "Hey, here's one character." Like, but then when they do DLC stuff, it's like, okay, we're gonna add Terry, we're gonna add Mai, we're gonna add a bunch of characters, right?
Because you know what to expect, so that you kind of play to it.
I like how somebody said, Capcom, what the fuck was that trailer? I mean, yeah, it was a pretty awful trailer, to be fair.
I appreciate the artistic vision, but it doesn't explain. But it's an awful trailer in the sense that it doesn't show what it actually is. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe do like half a trailer like that, and then actually then explain what it is.
But yeah, I'm trying to look it up. I actually don't know. These might be like original Street Fighter characters that are coming back. Because I don't know Street Fighter characters at all.
I'll be honest. I don't know other like fighting or like where possible things could have come
from. But the way the trailer was set up was like, oh my god, it's this guy.
Yeah. I guess it must mean something to a lot of people, just not us.
But yeah, that means Street Fighter 6 is about to get a lot more expensive for me. And then we have Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver, which is a fucking Wu-Tang Clan game, which I was just like, what the absolute fuck? I thought this one looks pretty interesting. I mean, if the Wu-Tang Clan's involved, then I will be too, you know? It looks
that's not my motive, but I thought this was interesting as well.
yeah, but it's sort of like a almost like hack and slashy sort of a game, almost like decimated animation, like this cool 2D art style. I thought,
Yeah,
which I think looks interesting. Presented by Ghostface Killer, not the guy from Dead by Daylight, the rapper.
the other one.
I also got Into the Unwell. Oh yeah, this one looks very much like Cuphead as like a 3D style, and then it looked like it had some sort of Souls-like gameplay where you'd have to keep trying to climb back out of this well against the devil. I thought this one looked like it could be interesting. Splitgate 2 got another trailer. I thought that looked okay. Then we had Stranger Than Heaven, which is the new title of the previously unannounced new Yakuza game, or new game from the Yakuza studios. I should say Rara Gigata, or how you pronounce that. Let me look it up. Raya Gagotaku Studios, that's what they're called. Sorry if I absolutely fucked that up, but I saw a man walking out of a jazz club and going into the street and beating the shit out of some people, and I said, I am in. 1940s Japan, yeah, I am in.
Yeah, I like the style, and it's like, that's a pretty cool aesthetic, like a pretty theme or like era, so that's pretty cool.
And then finally we have the brand new Resident Evil game was released.
Yes.
It's coming out next year, February 27th.
I mean, we because we were watching this live, we had an interesting reaction with one of our friends, right?
Well, I was watching this and I said this could be like a Remedy game, and he was like, "Yeah, it could be a Remedy game," and I was like, "Wait."
Well, he was really sold. He was like, "Wait, this does look like a Remedy game. It must be a Remedy."
But then I was
game.
like, "This kind of looks like."
Wait a minute.
This kind of looks like RE Engine. This could be a Capcom game.
Yeah. I think it's one of the vibes I have is like, it looks like detective-y thing that's like very much.
Well, because as soon as I saw like the character speaking and their like lips not syncing to what they're actually saying, I'm like, oh, that looks like that looks like a Capcom game. And
yeah.
But he was like, no, it's not it can't be a Capcom game. But then
there's like Resident Evil 9.
But it seems like they're going in a different direction with Resident Evil now. It seems like
it's good that they've got like a new form of life and they're just like willing to do these things. Like I feel like for a time we could have been stuck, which is like not progressing. I think at the very least, like, even if it's bad, I think at least they try. It doesn't look like a Resident Evil 6 problem.
It seems like they're going like almost more psychological horror, I would say, more than survival horror.
Yeah.
But
in this case,
we're gonna have to see like more of Resident Evil 9 to get like more of a check of what like the actual gameplay is gonna be like. But it looks interesting. I'm excited to see where Capcom is going with the series because they've been doing bangers recently. So that you love to 100%. See. Then let's talk about Sony's conference, State of Play. If you want to do a new timestamp. I think my most interested one from the State of Play was Marvel Tokon, which is being made by Arc System Works, who are known for doing the Guilty Gear games, which is considered one of the best like 2D anime fighter games. They're usually like one of the big games at like Evo and stuff like that, which is owned by I don't know do you know Evo, one of the biggest fighting game tournaments, is owned by Sony now, which makes a lot of sense because like also in this Sony conference they also announced that they were making a Sony branded fight box.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that, but I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense that they're doing that. Because like up until now, like I think most of the Street Fighter tournaments at Evo were played with PS5 controllers because it's a Sony tournament, so they were all playing on like PS5 controllers. But I guess now that people have been like, oh, we want to play on fight boxes, and Sony's like, okay, we'll make our own fight boxes, and like
Yeah.
fighting games are really popular
Official
inside
Sony.
the PlayStation community anyway. So I think it makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, I it's a anime 2D fighter with like I love Doctor Doom's like special, by the way, where he just walks up to someone and just shoots them with a fucking gun. I just think that's hilarious to me. I think the animations look fucking incredible. It seems like they definitely know what they're doing, and it's a 4-person tag team fighter. And they've said like, look, if you don't want to learn to play 4 characters, you can either play one character as your main and then just have characters come in as your assist, or you can like literally swap out your character with another character and have them and then change them on the fly and switch between them. So there is multiple ways to play the tag team system, which I think is interesting. I think the only tag team fighters I've ever played is the beta of 2XKO, which was like the tag team fighter that they're developing at Riot, which isn't out yet. And I've also played Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm, which was a tag team fighter, but that was like on the 360, like probably like 15 plus years ago. So that would be interesting. But what I found really interesting was Marvel came to like the Guilty Gear guys and they were like, hey, can you make like a tag team fighting game for us? And they were like, yeah. And they dropped some characters and they were like, no. We want you, this is too like Marvel style. We want like specifically, we want specifically like your style of Marvel fighters. So like you have like Iron Man who looks like a Sentai character, like a Power Rangers character, or like a Gundam character, right? Or you have like Captain America, you know, or Spooder Man. Like it's
I guess they're trying to Marvel for the Asian sort of demographic.
Well, like
aiming for,
I think like the anime Marvel stuff is popular with like the Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse stuff as well, like the animation style. But like I think people don't want the Marvel Cinematic Universe at home effect that you had from the you remember that Avengers game that was a live service game that got cancelled?
Yeah, I do.
Where it's like it looks like a worse version of Chris Hemsworth and stuff like that as Thor, right? Whereas like Marvel Rivals is doing its own thing and it looks really cool. And then we have like this very like anime style like characters in the fighting game that looks really cool. So I think Marvel is coming back in games. I think for a while, you had like the Avengers game, you had like the Marvel XCOM game that I heard was pretty good, but people were kind of like, I'm done with Marvel. But I feel like Marvel Rivals has got Marvel stuff back into the zeitgeist now, and I feel like people are much more willing to be like, okay, let's do some more Marvel stuff. Watching this trailer has all of the characters talking with their Japanese voice actors, and I want to say like, when I play this game, I want to play it with the Japanese VO because it sounds absolutely like Japanese Spider-Man and stuff sounds absolutely hilarious. So yeah, I think
it's definitely really a different style for sure. Yeah, it's like that. It's different for sure. Yeah.
I was watching this and I was like, wait, there's a new Digimon game coming out, and I was like, wait, why does this Digimon game kind of look like a Persona game? This is Digimon Storytime Stranger, but it almost looks like you're taking Digimon and you're getting them to fight against each other, and it's got this like stylized like human interactions, and you're moving around like a city, and you're having like it's about like the story and your relationships with people, and I'm like, this looks like a fucking Persona game. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I'm much more interested after seeing like the trailer for this than I was if you were just like, yo, there's a new Digimon game coming out. But yeah, what do you think of this game, Tony? Like,
I think it's interesting. I mean, I'm a Digimon enjoyer. I kind of want to see like more of it, I guess, before I.
Yeah. They put out like.
I didn't get enough.
They put out like the PC specs, and they were like really heavy, and people were like, it should not run this heavy, and I was like, yeah. this is a classic, Japanese optimized game. We'll have to see, because it looks like it should not be that heavy to run. But we've had games like Game Freak and fucking even like Atlas and Persona and stuff like that, or they or Souls games. They're really good gameplay, but they're notoriously unoptimized as hell on PCs. So.
Yeah, they're not the same level.
But yeah, then we also this is coming out this year, in August, I believe. We got actual gameplay of that new James Bond game that IO keeps teasing, and I think it looks really fucking good. It's interesting to see what Amazon is going to do with like the James Bond franchise, because we've had the end of like the Daniel Craig James Bond now, so we're just waiting for that next generation of James Bond stuff. And I personally love the classic campy James Bond. I love watching the old James Bond films, and I'm not really a big fan of the newer James Bond stuff. I think it's kind of like depressing and boring. But I like that. I've never played a Hitman game. I like the look of the Hitman games. So like a James Bond Hitman game sounds very good in theory, but I'll have to give this one.
If it has the right style, the right, like, not humor, but the right joy.
I feel like it's the perfect fit. Like, James Bond and IO Interactive makes a lot of sense. Like, the Hitman games 100%. Feel like they could be a James Bond game under another name, right?
I think maybe more serious, but like from the main character better. But
I mean, have you seen Agent 47 walking up as a chef, throwing like a pan over his head, over somebody's head? Like, you're telling me Hitman's a serious game?
No, I'm saying the character. The reason why that's funny is because Hitman is a serious character.
Right. But yeah, I think this looks really fun. So interested to see more about this one. Then we have Romeo is Dead. We got a lot of like weird Japanese games, which I feel like Sony was almost challenging the like PS2 vibe of like this conference, where they're like, yeah, we're just gonna, like, on the PS2 you had so many like games that were not necessarily the best games ever, but they took chances and were like, let's just try something interesting. And this is like Suda 51 and Grasshopper coming back and being like, I mean, the intro to this was just like, what the fuck is going on? Because we also had like a I think State of Play started with like a Tetris game. It was like, it was like Tetris on LSD almost. Like, it was almost like Tetris Effect, and I was just like, what the hell is happening? But yeah. Let's get to the gameplay so I can talk about it. It almost looked like this is from the No More Heroes guys, right? And I've been wanting to play the No More Heroes games for a while because they look really interesting, like that style of like action hack and slashy game with like, because I've been listening to the No More Heroes soundtrack and I've been like, oh, the No More Heroes soundtrack is fucking sick. So I'm expecting this game to be absolutely insane and have an awesome soundtrack. That's what I'm expecting from this game. Then we have Silent Hill F, which is the brand new Silent Hill game from the kind of untested. They're basically, we talked about them before, but they're essentially like a Resident Evil support studio dev. They do like the multiplayer game modes for the Resident, like the weird Resident Evil multiplayer stuff, like Resistance and stuff like that nobody actually plays but always owns because they bundle it in with your purchase of like the 2 and 3 remakes. But I thought this looked really good. I'm really excited for this game. I think this looks like a really interesting like Japanese like horror game. I've never played a Silent Hill game, and I'm just seeing this trailer, I was like, this looks really good and looks really intriguing. So definitely want to give that one a go. Oh, Mortal Kombat Legacy. This is interesting because I've been getting into fighting games this year. I've never really played a Mortal Kombat game other than like I think I briefly played one of the Mortal Kombat games as a demo on the PlayStation 3, I want to say. But it's from the guys who did like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection and the Street Fighter collection that just came out, and they did the Atari 50 stuff. Like they're really good at making these like bundles of old classic games and putting them together into like a modern format that works on modern PCs and consoles and stuff. So I'd be interested in going back and playing like the old Mortal Kombat games, because I think like right now on Steam there isn't really a way to go back and play the classic Mortal Kombat games, which is definitely something that should exist for people who want to go back and see that.
Yeah. You see the original, the terrible story.
Then we have Sword of Sea. It's another game from the Journey guys. I did not like the Journey games per se when I played those on the original PS3 version, but I did think their Pathless game looked interesting, and this looks almost like Tony Hawk. You're like surfing on a sword, and I was like, it looks fun to move around in this game at least, which I think could keep me entertained with the awesome like they've always done like good visual stuff like Abzu, where you have like that beautiful underwater stuff. Yeah, so like if they can get like, if it feels good to move in the game, I will be sold on like the just playing the game and just seeing like the beautiful visuals, right? That's what it is for me. Like I love games where movement is fun, and it looks like movement is fun in this game. So that's what made me pay extra attention to it. Then we have an announcement of a Thief VR game, which is interesting because I think these games where you play as like an assassin or a spy have always worked really well in VR. Like I love what's it called? I Expect You to Die is a great game, and Lethal Cuts is a great game. And they just did that Assassin's Creed game for the MetaQuest that people really liked. But I think it's right for a Thief game to come back.
Yeah, 100%.
But my issue is like 10 people will play this because it's a VR game, and not many people actually own VR headsets.
Unless it's really, really good, and like then it might pull people in. But yeah, I think it'd have to be phenomenal for that.
I think it's like I was literally watching. I was like, all you need now is water arrows, and then literally they show the water arrows, and I was like, okay, they've got the core fundamental point of the Thief series. I hope you have moss arrows as well. Like moss arrows are like just the weirdest arrows you could have, and they're a great part of the original Thief game. I think they cut out moss arrows in the later Thief games, like the Thief 2014 game. But bring back.
What does moss actually do? So
when you walk on different surfaces in Thief, they make noises.
Okay.
So like,
just changes.
For example, you need to break into like a prison in one of the early Thief missions in the original Thief, and there's this like metal stuff, and if you walk on it, you go clunk, 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 clunk. And if you walk on that, immediately the guard will turn around and go, "Oh, a little baby pigeon," and then he'll fucking kill you. So what you can do is you can shoot moss onto the floor, and if you walk on moss, it doesn't make sound.
That makes sense. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's such like a appreciated mechanic that they probably just were like, "Oh, let's streamline this and get rid of this." But it's like, it was actually really interesting for like an immersive sim game.
I think you do need more layers of stuff to think about and do.
I would love to have like a PC Thief game that's like an immersive sim. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you could get Arcane to make it. That would be interesting. But no, I mean, Arcane's a Microsoft studio, and who owns?
They're Microsoft hell,
Eidos is like they're like self-owned right now, right?
Yeah, they bought themselves out at like high cost at some point, right? And then like bought the.
I'm just gonna keep us going.
Yeah.
Then we have Hirogami, which was like a beautiful looking origami game.
Yeah.
which I thought.
Yeah.
Where it seems like it's like a decimated animation, like slow platformer, where you like transform to different creatures to solve puzzles.
Yeah, I feel like a simplistic puzzle game, but like at least it has a nice art.
I thought the art direction was what was really pulling me towards it.
Yeah.
I did see some like extended gameplay. I think it was in like the Future Game Show or the PC Gamer or something. I think it might have been Future Game Show, but I was less impressed when I saw more of the actual just raw gameplay. Whereas the Sony State of Play, I was like, oh, okay, this looks beautiful, but I'll have to keep my eye on this one because I'm not 100% sure on it at this point.
I think
definitely looks like good. Definitely looks
decent
good.
puzzle story game. Like I think it'd be fine. But yeah, I think play it for the visuals. I think that's fine.
And of course, Pragmata First Contact. I am one of those people who saw this and I was like, is that weird game from like 3 years ago that was announced by Capcom and then just never talked about again? And it is. It's that fucking weird Capcom game where you have like the girl in space who you have on. You're like a Big Daddy almost, and you have like a Dead Space ass gun and you're shooting limbs off of fucking like alien creatures, right? And I'm just like, is it aliens or is it robots? I think it might be robots in this one. Let's have a look. Yeah, they look more like mechy in this one rather than the Dead Space aliens. But I thought this one looked like it could be cool, but honestly, we just haven't seen this one for such a long time, and I kind of was like, why haven't we seen this for a long time? Like, what is going on with this game? It seems like they changed the voice actor.
They've been cooking. They've been cooking.
Of the girl from like the initial trailer that people were commenting on. So I'd be interested to see like what they've changed around.
Well, I'm wondering if they just like showed off like a really small slice first time.
I like how literally at the end of the trailer they were like, "Yeah, sorry, we did announce this like 4 years ago almost, and it's coming out next year."
Very sorry.
But yeah, that was the PlayStation showcase. I think it was definitely an interesting one. I think it was a lot of like, it felt very Japanese. There was a lot of like interesting games that looked kind of uniquely their own thing, which I was quite excited about.
Yeah, they're all very different from each other, right?
And then we have, which I think is the case every year, probably my favorite conference, which is the Microsoft Xbox conference. And we started with the Outer Worlds 2. I've just gone in order here. But I did actually watch the extended deep dive on this game, Tony, because between the PC gaming and the Xbox One, there was a conference after this which just went into Grounded 2 and the Outer Worlds 2. And I was like, okay, I'll just watch this while I wait for the PC gaming one. And I actually really liked it. It actually went into a lot of issues I had with the first game. So they were like, yes, we're going to focus more on being an RPG. So there's like, they showed like specifically a bridge mission, but they were like, okay, so you can like do the quest to, you know, get across this bridge, but you could also like start an uprising and fight your way through the bridge. You could sneak your way through the bridge. Cool. You could, you know, you could get a thing that allows you to tank toxic gas and just walk around the toxic gas instead of using the bridge. They were like, there's like multiple ways you can solve these issues, and we want the game to be more like an RPG than just like a shooter game, right? Which I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then they were also like, we're going to be focusing on skills rather than stat points, which was like, yes, it's an RPG. Let's have interesting skills. Nice. And they were like,
they had the interesting like character flaws and things, but not. But they're still like very boring.
They said they're like,
modifiers.
if you go like the science route, they're doubling down on like wacky science weapons, which is like, yes, that's interesting.
Nice,
you should be able to do that.
So they did like New Vegas-y stuff. It's like any tree will let you solve different conversations, or
they were showing like you could break into doors with strength, or you could, you know, use.
I'm not thinking it's like in a conversation like, oh, you happen to have medicine. It's like, oh, can you like talk to this guy about medicine?
But yeah, that was nice to see. It's nice to see the floor system coming out from the Outer Worlds one, because I felt like the floor system was really underdeveloped in the first game.
Really cool idea, but
I don't know if I told you about this, but they went into some of the floors that are really fucking awesome. So there's one called Bad Knees, and the way Bad Knees works is you have the ability to move faster, but every time you
Right.
stand up from crouching, your knees make an audible pop that alerts all the enemies around you because you have bad knees. So you can move
So you have to
faster,
you
but
can run away, but you can't sneak.
yeah, which I was like, that's fucking hilarious. And there's another
I
one
like
they
that.
showed
I
up
like
called
that.
Kleptomaniac, where when you sell stuff to vendors, you can sell it to them for more money. The only issue is sometimes if you're close to something, you will automatically steal it sometimes. So you might be walking through a merchant in town and accidentally steal from the merchant in front of him and then aggro all the guards around there, which I was like, that's fucking hilarious. That's the sort of
Yeah,
stuff I
I like
want to
that.
see in an
Yeah,
Obsidian
less
RPG.
stats, less stats, and more
So,
thoughtful
Tony, my number one
implementation.
thing I said about the Outer Worlds one was the game is really quiet. You have jingles
Yes.
that play when
Yeah.
you go to vending machines, and it's like it's Spacer's choice. It's not the best
Uh,
choice, and I was like,
yeah, I
okay,
wanted more adverts just played down the radio or some sort of equivalent,
because
right?
there's no radio in the Outer Worlds one,
No.
and for the most part, it's just like a little bit of background noise, but it's a very quiet game, I would say. And when I was playing, I played with it through uh, with the I just listened to the soundtrack radio of Fallout New Vegas, and I was like, this is so much better. They
Yeah.
confirmed on the deep dive thing there will be 3 original radio stations that you can listen to while you're playing the Outer Worlds 2, and the broadcasts will have hosts that reflect your actions in the game, which was one of the
No.
coolest things about like Fallout New Vegas. You would go and do something, and then suddenly, Mr. New Vegas would be talking about what was going on
Yeah, yeah.
in the world.
Like, I think news updating NPC stuff is for in almost any game that does it.
Yeah.
But do you think they watched a couple of video essays on how good New Vegas was and went, oh, that's what we're missing?
Yeah, well, it seems like they were like, yeah, Outer Worlds kind of was missing a bunch of stuff and was kind of not a great RPG. And, we
Yeah.
kind of figured out what made
But I think
stuff like New
they,
Vegas a good RPG, right?
because they were like it kind of feels like from what you were saying, like with some of the DLC, that like they were kind of half figuring some of that out already, like with the later DLC.
Yeah,
But
like
then I
Peril
guess
on
yeah, they've gone full
Gorgon
ham.
was very quiet, but I liked how a lot of the story was told through terminals of
Yeah,
people
yeah,
who already
yeah,
perished. I
yeah,
was like, I like
yeah,
environmental storytelling, and then Murder on Eridanos was very like dialogue heavy, and there was lots of ways to
yeah,
solve issues. It felt more RPG,
yeah.
and I loved the investigation tools they gave you. You felt like a detective solving like a murder mystery. I was like, this is really cool. I wish this was in the base game.
Yeah. Without, yeah.
But yeah, Tony, I don't. I mean, I played Avowed earlier this year, and I was not overly impressed with Avowed.
No.
Because it's
Neither
Obsidian
was I.
again, and I was like,
Yeah.
have they learned their lessons? Because they're working on so
I
many
think,
games in town. Because they literally just
well,
got Avowed.
that's a lot of different sub teams, I
Yeah,
guess.
and then they've just announced Grounded 2, so there's another game they're working on, and I don't know if this game is worth. I'm not going to buy this game for £70, and I don't feel like I'm going to be like, oh, I have to sub to Game Pass to play the Outer Worlds 2. This might be
Well,
something I
yeah.
would just wait for reviews
I'm
and pick up on sale.
yeah. Well, 100% wait for reviews. Like I feel like kind of maybe not burnt is the right word, but
Yeah,
like kind of feels like that with our like very high expectations.
yeah.
I like the Outer Worlds like universe, like the theming of it, and I was like, I really want this to be good.
Hmm.
So I'm actually looking for. I hope this is good, but like, yeah, I'm gonna try and I'll wait for reviews and go, and then just make judgment from there. Which
What?
you should do anyway. Like that kind of should be the default, to be honest.
Well, I saw a post on Reddit today where the Outer Worlds game director was saying that it wants this game to be less silly and have a darker tone than the actual like first game. And I was watching the trailer and I was like, this is showing the exact opposite of what you're saying there. Like,
I don't. Yeah. Also, like some of the dark stuff from the first game is because like they're pretending it's not dark. I don't know. That seems like an odd thing to say. Either way.
I don't know. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on this one, obviously. I mean, we have to wait and see on every single game that we ever talk about. But
yeah, but I think the fact that they were addressing like specific things, like whether it's executed well is still another matter. But the fact they're actually addressing them is a good start.
And then next up we had High on Life 2, which there was a couple of sequels here where I was like, was anybody asking for these sequels? Like, because I felt like
some people must have.
Because it just feels weird to be like, they show off like this skateboard thing. It's like, oh, you can skateboard around and you're moving fast and you're going through the city, right? But it's just, it kind of feels weird after all the Justin Roiland stuff and, you know, him no longer working on the game and then, you know, them continuing it on without him, because they did the High on Knife DLC where they had like the talking knife, right? And that got mixed reviews and people weren't like biggest fan of that. I just, because I've played High on Life now and I was like, this game is kind of not the greatest anyway. Like it feels.
I mean, I don't like humor anyway. It didn't. Nothing else elevated it.
I mean, unless they have two original, film commentaries from Red Letter Media inside this game, then I think it's going to be a skip from me.
Yeah.
Also, another one, we have like a new Plague Tale game, but not part of like, it's not like a Plague Tale 3. It's set in like the Plague Tale cinematic universe, I guess it's called. Resonance.
It's a side story.
Yeah, a Plague Tale Legacy. I mean, I've never played any of these Plague Tale things, but
I'm very interested. I own both of them now. I've not played it yet, but yeah, very interesting that I didn't know there's like enough, like I guess lore or like world building like to do.
Well, is there going to be rats in this one, or is this a ratless build?
Is this a ratless? Is this like the prelude to the rats? I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't. Is there like areas where
I don't know enough.
No rats?
I don't know about the rats. I don't know if it's like rats are like a localized problem and that the rest of the world is dealing with it different ways. I don't know.
But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, I'm very interested.
So apparently this is set 15 years before Plague Tale Requiem. Yeah. So I guess this is ratless, maybe.
Pre-rats. Yeah. That's interesting. I'm pretty excited for that. I think along with what was the other game? There's another game that like showed medieval stuff very well, and it's like, yeah, good to see that sort of stuff.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm going to talk about the Xbox gaming handheld. Microsoft have shown off their official partnership gaming handheld. There was rumors that they were making their own, but I think they've gone back to the drawing board on that one. It's essentially an ROG Ally X with an Xbox controller stapled onto the side of it. It kind of looks like an Xbox version of the PS Portal. I think one of the most interesting things
about... What's the UI on it? What's the OS?
Yeah, so one of the most interesting things about this is it is using a less bloated version of Windows. I don't know if you've seen like any videos on this. There was like a LTT video, and I've watched a few other videos on it. But he was saying like they've saved 2 gigabytes of system memory, like RAM, that you can use as like VRAM or system memory or whatever, just on this like less bloated version of Windows they've done specifically for gaming. And my first question is, how do I get my hands on this version of Windows that has less bloat in it?
Yeah.
So it's like it's built for handheld first. So they showed this really cool like app switching thing where you can just like use your bumpers to switch like natively between like Discord and Battle.net and like the Xbox app and stuff like that. And you can use other competing third-party apps, Tony. So obviously, you know, Steam and Epic Games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also,
it's just a Windows machine at the end of the day, then.
No, like they've made it so you can now log in with a controller. So before,
sure. But I'm saying in terms of loading software, like you're downloading the normal versions.
Yeah, but they've made it specifically so you can log in with a PIN, with a controller, so you can, something that wasn't possible before, you can click UAC prompts with a controller, which was a really big issue on gaming handhelds. Was you'd launch a game and it would go dun security prompt, and you would have to like physically get a mouse and keyboard to click the security prompt to continue playing the game.
Yeah, that's Yeah.
Now you can do it with the
Actually thought about
controller.
it and change the UI. That's that, or
They're
change
trying.
the. I guess that's the actual user experience of that.
They're trying to do their own like
Yeah.
Steam Deck verified system where they're using like telemetry to be like, oh, does this game run well on these gaming handhelds, sort of thing. But on a base level, they're going to be, does this game allow you to use a controller, basically, which is like one thing that like Steam and the Steam Deck verified system is good at, to say, hey, you can use a controller with this game, which I think is very good for gaming handhelds.
Say how good it actually is to play, just that can you technically use one.
It's going to be using the Ryzen Z2 Extreme chip, which I don't think we've seen yet, which will basically be the new chip going forward with the gaming handhelds. Yeah. There's two versions of this, by the way. So there's the Ryzen 2 Z2 Extreme, which from what I can tell is exactly the same as, other than the brand new chip, which is more powerful. It has basically, it's the ROG Ally-X's battery, it's the ROG Ally-X's control buttons, it's the ROG Ally-X's screen, the 120 hertz VRR display LCD. It's just giving you that more premium like grip feeling with the controllers on them. There will be a second version of this called the I can't remember what the smaller version, but it is using what's called the Ryzen ZA, which apparently is rumored to be the same chip as the Van Gogh chip in the Steam Deck. So they're going to have one of these that is essentially like, the most powerful, one of the most powerful gaming, because Nvidia recently put out a blog post saying like the Switch 2, the most powerful handheld in the world, and there's going to be like, it's going to be interesting to see like the Switch 2 versus the new AMD powered handhelds with the Z2 Extreme AI chips in them, and how that goes, especially like the
curious.
Have you seen like the Strix Point like AMD APUs look really good.
The
new Ryzen. I don't know if this is part of that, but those
I believe
really
it's like
good.
a part of like I believe it's part of like the similar like nodes and architecture and stuff. So.
But yeah,
I think it's all like a similar family, just that they just have really weird names for some reason.
I believe
they're all 8,000 like series like mobile.
The more Steam Decky version of this, the Ryzen ZA version, is going to have it's going to have the same screen, but they've said this is more for 720p gaming, whereas this is more for 1080p gaming, the more cutting edge one, which. We still don't have all the full information on this, so we don't know how much they're going to cost. We don't know.
It should. I'm hoping the efficiency is good, or like the actual battery life is good with the efficiency.
Something I forgot to mention. Again, I find this so funny. Where they originally showed off Hollow Knight Silksong was in the background of a Switch 2 indie random like sizzle reel. And now they're showing off Hollow Knight Silksong gameplay again as background sizzle reel footage of another handheld, which I'm just like, are they just trolling Silksong fans at this point with these trailers?
It's definitely coming.
I can't wait for the next, handheld gaming machine that just shows off the full trailer for
Steam Deck 2.
Yeah.
Silksong.
And then, so there's more information here. More importantly was like Windows 11 has now been designed for a specific handheld mode. You can read more about it. There's articles and people have asked about specific stuff as well. It's like a cut down version of Windows, which I think is really interesting. I think that is the big dividing factor between Steam Deck and the like ROG Ally. Is the ROG Ally is much more powerful than the Steam Deck relatively, but just Windows on a handheld was just it's time to game, and like it's not as easy as a seamless experience. Well, if you have an unmodified Steam Deck, unlike me, where you have installed
there's also performance overhead with that Windows on the ROG, is not quite as not quite as increase in power as you'd otherwise expect.
Yeah, but a lot of people were doing was taking their ROG Ally-X and just installing Bazzite on it, which is like the unofficial SteamOS, and now they have SteamOS
Yeah.
specific drivers and updates to use SteamOS on the RGLX X, and
I genuinely believe this is like a Microsoft response to oh shit, we need to like do something handheld related. Otherwise, this will be the vector for like Linux to replace Windows.
I think that is slightly cope. I think it's more to do with the Switch 2, which is going to sell hundreds of millions of units, whereas the Steam Deck has sold
I think that's
3 million units. So I think it's probably more to do with competing a bit against Nvidia when it comes to handhelds. But
why does Microsoft care about that? They could choose anyone.
Because they're working with AMD, right? I mean, yeah, they could themselves work with Nvidia,
anyone,
right?
I say Microsoft.
Well, they're competing against Nintendo, right? Because that's the handheld gaming market.
I think it's a completely different market.
Well, I'm somebody who owns a Switch 2 and a Steam Deck, so they definitely have people who are in the handheld market who are interested in both consoles. So there is an overlap.
That doesn't make it not different markets. Sure, there's always an overlap.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a part of it. I definitely think it will compete. I just feel like I don't think if they were. I think there is an existential threat from like Linux as well.
I think
I'm not saying it's the only. I'm not saying it's the only primary.
I think that there is people out there who are going to be looking at getting a handheld console, and they're going to be weighing up the Switch 2, the Steam Deck, and the ROG Ally. They're going to be looking at all these. And going, obviously, people don't have money to buy all these things, so they're going to be looking and going, which one is for me? And Microsoft has committed to their Xbox Play Everywhere as well, which is something they were doing with their conference, where they're like, if you buy this on, Xbox, you will be able to play this on other systems as well, and you can link it to like Steam, and I know you can like carry your progress over from. I think it's like with Avowed, you can carry your Xbox Game Pass saves over to the Steam version and stuff like that. Like they're trying to make an Xbox anything. They want a phone to be an Xbox. They want a gaming handheld PC to be an Xbox. They're very much trying to be like an Xbox is anything sort of thing, and they're trying to make that as seamless.
I think they're trying to hedge their bets. They're not left behind by anything that replaces them. I think that's in why.
The Blood of the Doom Walker is the next game I wanted to talk about. This looks very much like a vampire version of The Witcher. It is like a combat RPG. It looks it's very much like a world of vampires, and this guy gets attacked and turned into a vampire, and then it's like that Witcher story of I have to become a monster to fight the monsters, But I thought it looked quite cool. I was gonna The Witcher's probably better because it's a fantasy thing. Right?
Yeah, in terms of.
But Blade would be better in terms of a vampire fighting vampires, right?
Yeah.
Because it's literally called the Dawn Walker, right? Like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this looks really cool. And it also had it looks very much like The Witcher, and it has like Witcher ass music. So I thought that was interesting. Super. I think one of the maybe one of my games I'm interested in the most is Super Meat Boy 3D. It is I immediately saw the fucking Mario pipe, and I was like, "What the fuck is this doing in an Xbox conference?" But it's Super Meat Boy. So, Super Meat Boy, the original game, was made by Team Meat and Ed McMillan, who went on to do stuff like The Binding of Isaac, and he's just doing his new game Mugenics, and The End Is Nigh, and other games like that, right? But they've split up a long time ago, and Team Meat's been doing stuff like they did an auto-running Super Meat Boy game, and they did like a puzzle Super Meat Boy game that have got like middling mixed reviews.
Right.
But the reason I'm very interested in this is like I love 3D platformers, and I love the original Super Meat Boy, and I was like, okay. And people were like, oh, but they're working with like an unknown developer to make this 3D version. And I was like, they're working with Sluggerfly. And I know who Sluggerfly are because they made Hellpie, one of my favorite 3D platformers of the past couple of years. That game is absolutely great. So if Sluggerfly is making a 3D platformer version of Super Meat Boy, I am very interested in this game. I think it looks like it's going to be like a very good game based on that information. So I'm going to definitely be keeping my eye on that one. Then we got an announcement of a brand new DLC coming to Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I think this looks really cool. I would definitely want to jump back in and play a brand new chapter in the Indiana Jones game because it was one of my favorite games of last year. My big issue is I played it on Game Pass, and usually with DLC, they don't add DLC to Game Pass either. So you'd either have to buy, I would either have to get Game Pass and buy the DLC on Xbox Store, or I'd have to buy the game on Steam and then buy the DLC.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I'm going to play this. I might pick it up on sale later and go through it. But hopefully I don't have to play through the entire game again. Maybe your saves carry over from Game Pass. I'm not sure how that works. Hopefully they do.
I thought, isn't it in a weird encrypted state though?
No, you might be able to sign in with your Microsoft account and then carry your save over. I'm not sure how that works. I'll have to look into that.
See.
But yeah, looks really cool. Beast of Reincarnation. I'm not interested in this game at all, but I'm so interested when I saw the dev that popped up. I was like, wait, what the fuck is happening here? This game is being made by Game Freak. I'm just like,
wait, what?
Game Freak is making a Souls-like game for Xbox and PlayStation. I'm just like, the fucking Pokemon developers are making a game not on Nintendo. This is very strange. And I saw it running, and I was like, this looks like it's running awfully. This must be a Game Freak game. Because we don't know, like, their recent Pokemon games have been absolutely awfully optimized and running.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is going to run like shit. But yeah, that was like one of the big surprises for me was like, I just always saw Game Freak as the Pokemon guys. So like seeing them do something completely different is very interesting. Yeah.
So you don't think it's part of the Pokemon expanded universe?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, if Game Freak can make Pokemon games, maybe other people should be allowed to make games that have pals in them, you know? Like a world of pals.
There's an idea.
Then we have Clockwork Revolution. I think this game has been announced for a while, and we've seen some more cinematic stuff from it, but we got to saw like more sort of like gameplay-esque footage, and I still think this game looks really good. It's by In Exile, who I think do more like isometric, like CRPG stuff, I think. But immediately, like the big comparison is like Bioshock Infinite, right? It has that very like steampunk, like cloudy look to it. It even has like a time travel mechanic in it. This game looks like a really ambitious immersive sim, and that makes me very excited and very worried at the same time. It could be really good, but I really hope they don't just get too ambitious and, you know, completely run out of budget and stretch themselves too thin, you know?
Yeah, keep the scope.
Yeah, you don't want scope creep.
Enjoyable experience. Yeah.
Then next up we have Grounded 2 has been announced, which I was very much like, I played Grounded 1 and I was like, yeah, that was a fun game. And I'm like, did we need a Grounded 2? Like, I don't know really what more could be added to Grounded to be like, we need a more of this. I think what they announced with Grounded 2 was because like in Grounded 1 you're in your backyard, but with Grounded 2 you've been shrunk down into an entire like park, so it's going to be like a different area and it's going to be much bigger. So the idea is they're going bigger, and in the extended stuff I watched, they said a lot of people will just sit down and play through the story content of a survival crafting game, whereas some people will want to like go and do the base building and go deep into that. But they found like they want to satisfy all those players, so like when they want to add like a bunch more story content, it made more sense to build like a second game, which I'm like, yeah, I'm sort of like more of a story guy who goes and plays through like the story of these survival crafting games. So I guess like in that way a second Grounded game would make sense. I've just never sat down and like I've played Grounded before and I've enjoyed my time with it, but I played it in like early access, so I would have to go back and sit down and play through like the story. Yeah, I played it in like game preview or whatever they call it on Game Pass. But yeah,
sounds like early access to me.
It was a pretty like it was a pretty fun survival crafting game, but there was nothing about it where I was like, oh, this is a amazing survival crafting game. It was sort of just like a
Yeah.
fun game to load up with friends, you know?
Fun game held up by
Yeah.
the perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's alright. Never played Grounded.
It's okay. I'd recommend it. Like, especially if you're playing it co-op with friends. I don't know how it is like single player, whatever.
Yeah.
This game, I have no fucking idea what's going on in it, but that makes me very interested. This looks like a musical rhythm puzzle adventure game on LSD with like ska music, and I'm just like, yes, sign me up. I want to play this. I don't know what is happening, but it looks right up my alley. It looks like weird shit, and I am all for it. And it looked...
It's not a Genesis Noir weird shit.
No, it looked like you were almost like playing House Flipper, but then you were like...
Oh, that's good, that's fine.
You were like, oh, House Flipper, but then you had like a Cuphead-ass amiibo on your fucking... your House Flipper Ghostbusters machine, and then you were like fixing up a town, but then there was like singing and music, and there was weird like paranormal stuff going on, and I was like, what is... and then it got to a point where it's like, but spooky paranormal stuff, and I was like, is this a horror? Like, what is... This game is every genre.
Layers.
It's it's like an onion ogre, you know. There's so many layers.
So it's like house flipping, like not casual, but like cozy vibes. There's like, oh no, actually, you don't need to use the same mechanics to solve spooky vibes.
But it's adventure. You're driving around like a car and a boat, but there's people dancing and singing, and there's like eldritch monsters and spiders, furniture and combat, and I'm just like, bro,
this could be really good. Really confusing.
Yeah, this could be a good game.
I mean, eldritch stuff I'm in, so
yeah, looks awesome. It's called There Are No Ghosts at the Grand. Planet of Lana 2. This was another sequel. Again, there was there was a couple of sequels. This is a game I played the demo of, and it's one of those, like, you know, I was calling them limbo likes or inside likes, where it's like that more slow paced like puzzle platformer, where it's very much just like, it's almost like the end of there's this invasion happening and people are getting captured. It's like the sort of like the end of the world, but it's like, it was, from what I played, it was like an interesting like story puzzle platformer in that. And I'm always looking for more of these games because I feel like there is some interesting stuff to do inside of these. And I never played the full game, but I liked the demo from what I played of it. So it's interesting to see, like, this felt like more of a sleeper, smaller game. So it's nice to see Microsoft like highlighting a more indie game and then, you know, highlighting a sequel of it as well.
Yeah, it's nice to see.
Cool. A lot of the games were announced to be coming out like next year. So there was a lot of stuff being like, this is coming out next year, which makes me worried for them because there's a game called GTA 6 coming out next year, you know? Mate, like every game coming out 2026 has to be so scared of GTA 6. That is going to be the biggest game of the year. And if you're anywhere near that, you're in so much trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think... yeah, you have to leave it a big leeway and expect...
Oh, Tony, At Fate's End, another really interesting game. This is from the Spiritfarer devs, and it looks like a Soulsy Metroidvania game, but you're fighting people and then having conversations with them. And I'm just like, this looks really interesting. This looks like it could be really good. I've heard like the Spiritfarer game is like, because you build like a community on like a barge in the afterlife, and it's a very like emotional, like high, like people love that game. But it seems like they're going more for like a combat focus, but then with like deep story moments. The only games I can think about where you're like doing combat with story at the same time is like almost like Final Fantasy, where you're like, ha ha ha, I am clashing swords with you. Let me explain my master plan, like a Squeenix game. Like, you know. But yeah, this, like, from the dev team, like, there's a lot of class there. Like, I think this looks very interesting. On it, you could do like card-based, like, slow down time and do moves with that. There was almost like a deck system as well. there's a lot of shit going on here. Looks like it could be very interesting. Oh, Tony, I saw this and I was screaming. I was like, "There's no way. This is a day one game from me." I saw this and I was like, "Day one purchase. It does not matter. I have become an Atlas simp. I will buy the Persona 4 remaster. You can charge £100 for this game. I will be buying it.
£100.
Yes."
Oh my God.
And I'm glad we're keeping up the tradition. Persona 5 Royal, Persona 3 Reload. We have Persona 4 Revival. It is the Persona 4 remake.
I do like. It's very pointless, but I do like when they try and have different words. I do like that.
Yeah. What was I going to say? There's no release date for this, and they showed very little. It's a teaser trailer, which makes me worried it's going to be like 2027 or something. This is going to like start to actually come out. I just saw like a Japanese classroom with like yellow curtains. I was like, Persona 4. I know exactly what this is. I've been listening to the Persona 4 soundtrack as well recently. I'm very excited for this one. But yeah, can't wait to see. It looks a lot like, because Persona 3 looked very much like a souped up version of Persona 5, but this looks like they're maybe moving not necessarily to a new engine, but like a more advanced engine. It looks a lot more advanced than the other Persona remakes they've been doing recently. So very excited to see more of this.
I mean, they can reuse a lot of the stuff they've already done. They can just have some more time on even more new stuff this time around.
Oh, also, like a few weeks ago, I was going to talk about this. One of the voice actors for the original Persona 4 said, "I will not be returning as Yosuke for the Persona 4 remake. I asked, maybe even begged, but they don't want me to come back." And everyone was like, the Persona 4 remake has not been announced. Have you just completely leaked this? And yeah, so the voice actors completely leaked this news. So we had a general idea this was going to happen. But this is the exact same thing that happened with Persona 3 Reload, where they got brand new voice actors for the main cast, but they got the original cast to come back as supporting cast, which I don't know.
The original
I don't know why they did it that way, but it seems like they might ask the original cast to come back as supporting characters. I don't know why they do it that way, but apparently that's the way they do it. It didn't make a difference to me because I'd never played the original Persona 3, so they would just... Because I could understand if you were very much attached to the original voice actors, you would be like, oh, this feels weird playing the remake with different voices, but it probably won't feel weird to me, but it is strange how they're doing that. I don't really agree with that.
To you, yeah, because to you, like, it wouldn't be strange either way. Like, surely they should do the one where it's not strange for anyone.
Yeah, maybe it's like, maybe they're just cutting corners to save money, but they're getting them back as additional voices. If they're getting them back to do additional voices, why can't they come back as the main Japanese devs? I don't know.
Sometimes like they have like a weird opinion of like the style or something, or I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
Maybe they're trying to be like, look, this is a remake. We need to get new, fresh voices in to be like the HD version, and then we can leave the original cast as the OG version if people want to play that, because there's already as Atlas tradition there was already multiple versions of Persona 4. There is Persona 4 and there's Persona 4 Golden, which is the like the HD remake, and then there's going to be the full remake now. Just know whenever you purchase an Atlas game, you may have to purchase it several times to get the definitive edition.
Yeah.
Then we got an Invisible tag team fighting game. Invincible. Have you ever? I've talked about Invincible before, and it's a show I like. Kind of has that like the boys vibe to like a superhero thing, and it has an amazing.
I don't know anything about
voice cast.
Invincible,
but it's Skybound Games, which is the like ex Telltale devs, but they're doing like a tag team fighter. So I was like, oh, okay. It at least from what it sounded like J.K. Simmons to me. I don't know if he's confirmed, but it did sound like they had like J.K. Simmons and potentially Stephen Yen, who are the voice actors. Like the thing with Invincible is all the voice, like you'll have like a random character and it'll be like Seth Rogen, and you'll have like a random character and it'll be like, you know, a very famous actor will play like a part in this. That was like one of the big drawing factors was like Omni-Man with J.K. Simmons is fucking phenomenal. He absolutely knocks this character out of the park. He's a very entertaining and intriguing character.
Well, he's not a superhero, is he?
He's basically Superman in this series.
I thought you hated superheroes.
No, he's become the Superman.
He's become one.
My only issue was with the tag team fights they showed. Like they showed like Atom Eve and Rexplosion, which are like main characters, and like Invincible and Omni-Man, which are like big fighters. But they were like, and here's two random Viltrumites, and I was like, really? You couldn't do any of the other like main characters? You couldn't do like a Alan the Alien or like, you know, Cecil or, you know, the any of the other, like these are the characters you chose? Like any of the other, like the Guardians, like Immortal or, you know, people like that. Maybe they have more fighters that they haven't shown off, but like the roster seems kind of small from what they've shown so far. And on a 3v3 fighting game, you want a big roster, right? So we'll have to wait and see with this one, because maybe their thinking was, oh, we don't want to, you know, if we get Alan the Alien as a character, we have to get Seth Rogen to come back and record voice lines, right? Which was the thing with like Nickelodeon and All-Star Brawl they had the issue with, where they didn't have any of the original voice actors, and then people complained, so they got back like all the original ones for All-Star Brawl 2, right?
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
And then finally for the experts conference, we have Keeper, which is a Double Fine adventure game where I'm not 100% sure, but you're like a bird on like a lighthouse that's like a moving island thing that look pretty interesting. The thing with Double Fine games, like I love Psychonauts, I think it's an amazing game. The thing with like Tim Schafer and Double Fine, they don't always make the best games, but they're always very interesting. Like they're always trying to do something, you know, different, and I appreciate that from Double Fine. So I think this game looks gorgeous. I loved like the art direction, especially on this one. But I'm intrigued to see like where the actual like story and gameplay of it goes. But yeah, let's move on to the PC gaming one. I can go through this very quickly because there honestly wasn't very much I was interested in. This is Goblin America, and this very much reminds me of Cruelty Squad or do you remember like I think it was called Splatter, the game where I was like an alien and I was shooting people with my finger, and it just kept like, it was basically like all over the place, like that. Messy.
Yeah.
This looks like, you know, Cruelty Squad Splatter, but with like Counter-Strike surfing, and there's weirdly like a genre of boomer shooters that's all about just fucked up, wild, weird shit, and I'm just like, maybe I just gotta like sit down and play one of these games one day just to be like, what is going on? Why is this a genre of games? Like, I need to know more about this. But the whole surfing, like bunny hopping angle definitely makes me more interested in it. It looks like it has good movement. And then, of course, Tony has a tradition. Another one of the games I was interested in was another boomer shooter we had, or like shooter game with the weirdness going on. It's called Pigface, which is a early access grimy shooter, and it reminds me of like Children of the Sun. It has that very much like, almost like, I want to say like what was that David Szymanski game I played for the Steam Next Fest, where it looked like a snuff film. This looks like a snuff film, and I'm for that like vibe of a shooter video game. Oh, it's Dread XP as well, which again, Dread XP always do like weird horror adjacent shit, and I appreciate them from Dread XP. Then we have Paralives, which I'm not 100% interested in playing myself, but I was like, oh, it's like another Sims competitor. So it seems like there is more like Sims like games that people are interested in trying and playing, because we've had Inzoi came out and that was really popular. That was I think it's the Korean like Sims likey AI sort of game thing. We had the Paradox tried one and then cancelled it. They gave up on that. But it's like there's a demand for Sims-like games that aren't the Sims, because the Sims are kind of resting on their laurels when it comes to having the monopoly on those games.
There's not really been much innovation. Just for like re-releasing in the new engine the old stuff.
Are you interested in like the Sims games or Sims adjacent games? Like, would you be interested in this game? Because you like building stuff, right?
Like Live Sim. Yeah, I like building stuff, and I kind of like a reason to build stuff as well, which I think like really lends itself to like interactions with people. Like, I think that's really cool. Like I'm the crazy people that actually plays The Sims properly. Like I start with a lot and
play
get a job
properly
and slowly upgrade my house.
That's a wild thing to say.
And then I move.
You're invalidating everyone else's Sims playthroughs.
Most people like, right.
Whoa,
money cheat. I'm designing a house.
You're gatekeeping the Sims right now. You're watching somebody else play Souls games. And you're saying, but you use summons. It doesn't count.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People use it for money. I'm playing it properly.
No, I go in, I type motherload into the console, I just build a big fucking house. I purposely try and kill my Sims by putting chairs next to fireplaces. I remove the ladders from the pool. I torture my Sims,
I'm very... So I don't... Yeah, so there's like two things people ever know about. Oh, they put money load, they want to design a mansion sort of thing, or like a beautiful house. Or, I just want to torture the Sims. I don't do either of those. I just play it as if it's like a single player game and I need to like earn money and slowly expand my family.
Isn't The Sims always a single player game?
No, but I'm saying it's either just like a creative torture game or a creative house building game. Most people play it. When I tell Sims player how I play the game, like, oh, what? No one plays it like that.
Yeah, I think most people just use it as like a house building simulator for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I like house building, but I like to like make it like a grand design sort of through the ages sort of thing.
And then another one I thought was interesting was Berserk or Die. This looks like a keyboard destroying simulator. You essentially have to attack people on the left of the screen by slamming your hand on the left-hand side of your keyboard. If someone attacks you from the right, you slam your hand on the right side of the keyboard and your character will do an attack on the right side. And I think it scales based on how many keys you hit. Yes.
Okay.
And then it's like you can just...
That's hilarious.
You can just like spin your mouse around like crazy to do like a spin attack.
I want to get my old Logitech keyboard.
Well, yeah, because I saw this game and I looked, because immediately after I saw this trailer, I was like, oh, how much does this game cost? I kind of want to play this. And it was like £3 on Steam, and I was like, oh yeah, I should buy this. And I was like, wait a minute, I have a really nice keyboard now. I don't want to ruin my nice keyboard by playing this game. But it's by, because they said Vampire Survivors, which got me interested, which it's published by the same guys who created Vampire Survivors, which I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Oh, okay, right.
Because immediately I was like, does it cost £3? And I go to the Steam page, it's like, yeah, it costs £3, like Vampire Survivors. So I could see a lot of people picking this up, and I kind of want to pick it up myself. I might still pick it up, but I might have to plug in the stunt keyboard, to play this one.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see how this would translate to a controller. I just don't think you could do it, right?
I just feel like you need to use one of those controllers you get for free with like the really bad ones to get like an extra peripheral sort of thing. Like
the third-party clear controllers that you would have.
Yeah.
The controller covered in grime that you would go, okay, my friend's playing. I was playing Mario Kart with my sister, and she was like, oh, I'm going to turn the Joy-Con in half, and we'll play like half a Joy-Con, because that's how we play on the Switch 1, because we didn't have a controller for it. And I was like, no, you can play with the Joy-Con grip. You can have the premium experience, and I'll slough it out, and I'll just use the Pro controller. I'll give you the Joy-Cons, and I'll use the Pro controller. But yeah, I think there's one more game.
The Pro. You get away with it.
I wanted to talk about, which was Love Eternal, which I actually heard talked about on a podcast, and I saw the gameplay as well, and I was like, this looks like you have this weird like pixel art horror narrative that's going on, and then the gameplay is like Celeste. And I'm just like, that is very intriguing to me. Whether that would be fun, I don't know, but it's definitely interesting. Like the whole idea of Celeste is like overcoming like your trauma and fears and stuff like that through like platforming, like literally climbing a mountain, right? But like, so I could see like overcoming like anxiety and horror being like through running away from a creepy version of yourself. That could be an interesting idea, right? And I think it is like interesting to see how another game would do something like this, right? But yeah, because we like one of my favorite games of 2023 was Homebody, and Homebody is a great game for turning the feeling of being trapped or stuck in your house or having OCD or something, and turning the almost like mental illness and turning that into like a horror analogy. And it's almost is like your the feeling of being trapped. I think that is like very interesting. So yeah, I think this could work really well. But yeah, that is the end of the E3 Electric Boogaloo Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo not E3 conference, and it only took us almost 3 hours to get through, Tony. We finally made it, and I am ready to go back to playing Mario Kart World on my Switch 2.
Load it up, and then just.
I think for me, if I was going to pick out specifically a couple of games that I was very interested in, I would say Marvel Tack-On, the Guilty Gear anime fighter. I would say Super Meat Boy 3D was one I was very interested in. And Persona 4, obviously, but that's not coming out for a long time, so I don't have to think about that. And of course, Sonic Crossroads with the...
you can't.
I'm not buying it on release. It's too fucking expensive, but I am very interested by the new Sonic Racing game. But yeah. And anything you were specifically interested in there, Tony?
I'm hoping the Outer Worlds 2 is good.
Yeah, me too.
But we'll see.
And again, it's a Sonic Crossroads. It's a Sonic.
Yeah.
I'm not spending £70 on this situation, you know.
Well, it depends. If it's really good,
it
might, but it has to be really good, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say like the what's it called?
I don't know. I'm not in your brain. Oh, the Plague Tale spin-off.
Plague Tale spin-off game. I was like, I'm kind of interested in that. That kind of cool stuff. There's some other stuff there as well, but I think those are the things that look really stick out to me personally.
Cool.
And other stuff might sneak up on me and go when it comes out, and it's like, I've just been like, I've been kind of like just holding off and just like, okay. And this like sort of stage, like, so it's like I kind of like half in my mind, and then like as it gets closer to release, like at release, I'm like, okay, I'll look at it again, sort of thing. So it's kind of difficult. Like I've kind of like retrained how I think about this, because before I used to be very hyped from these sort of trailers and things.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just trying to be more responsible, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm pretty much being like, look, this looks cool, but we have no idea like the logistics of when it's
even if they show off a lot, you don't know if like is that just like the slice they've got, or is that
you want to see gameplay as well. You want to get your hands on
demo.
You want to get
reviews. But I need an independent person to show it. I think obviously this is like a very important first step. Like you need to like make people aware it exists. But that's what I'm treating it as. And then I'm waiting for the independent person to go, this is what I think.
It's literally a giant ad. That's what not E3.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just being like,
I would treat it exactly as such.
It's an ad, and it's trying to sell you something. So it's gonna make whatever it's showing look the best.
But before, it used to be like the highlight of the year. Like, oh, I'm so excited for the game. Now I'm like, I want to be excited for the game when it comes out, and it's actually reviewed well, and it appeals to me, not the games that are going to be.
They're going to be the best. But that is the end of the podcast. You can check us out. YouTube.com at Everything In Between Podcast. If you want to watch the VODs, Tangerine, Spotlight. Twitch.tv/Scorn. if you want to watch live and you want to type in the chat. shows.cast.com/everything-in-between-podcast. There will be links to Spotify and Apple podcast versions. You can download it as well for the audio version, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.